मैं ये will start the session. Okay, so screen, you're able to see the screen, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll start on module 3, which is ISMS support and operation. So that will come under clause 5. Clause 6 we have completed, and clause 7, it's basically about the support. So the clause 7 will be focusing on the foundation support element that required to effectively
तो
implement
सर मॉड्यूल 6 में सिर्फ यही था क्लास 6 में रिस्क और इंफॉर्मेशन सिक्योरिटी असेसमेंट और इंफॉर्मेशन सिक्योरिटी रिस्क ट्रीटमेंट यही है क्या? 3 चीज ही
हाँ
है सिर्फ?
हाँ हाँ हाँ, that is risk management, risk assessment. It is the same thing on that.
ओके, ट्रीटमेंट तक हुआ था फिर हमारा 6.1.3 तक हमने कंप्लीट किया था।
हाँ, इसके
ओके।
वो शीट में एक मिनट, लेट मी चेक दिस वन। ये स्क्रीन, एक मिनट, ये हो गया है हमारा
जी सर, क्या कह रहे
क्लास 6 जो हमारा ना,
हैं जी?
ये है, ये 1.3 ट्रीटमेंट।
जी हाँ, यहाँ तक हुआ था हमारा सर।
हाँ, ये सब हो गया ना, ये 2 पॉइंट प्लानिंग ऑब्जेक्टिव भी हो गया, करेक्ट?
ना सर, 6.2 नहीं हुआ।
2.2 नहीं हुआ क्या?
जी नहीं सर,
और
6.1.3 तक हम लोग महदूद हैं अभी तक।
अच्छा, 1.2 तक है
जी हाँ, 1.3 तक 6 इंफॉर्मेशन सिक्योरिटी रिस्क
ट्रीटमेंट।
ट्रीटमेंट विच इंक्लूड्स डेफिनेशन, फिर आपने अवॉइड रिस्क मिटिगेशन जो बताया था ना, हाँ ये सब चीज़ हुआ है हमारा।
तो अभी ये इसके बाद क्वेश्चन आंसर किया हम लोग ने क्या?
जी हाँ, क्वेश्चन आंसर हुए थे हमारे,
हाँ
6.2
तो
नहीं हुआ है।
6.2
अच्छा।
हुआ, क्वेश्चन आंसर हुए, हमारे क्वेश्चन आंसर हुए ना?
जी हाँ, हो गए थे क्वेश्चन आंसर, याद है
हाँ
मुझे
तो फिर
ऑलमोस्ट।
वो भी क्वेश्चन आंसर हो गया, तो मतलब फिर ये भी हो गया हमारा, लाइक अभी टू टू में क्या है, लाइक टू में ये वही
प्लानिंग।
पूरा हम लोग जो है, लाइक सब्जेक्टिव प्लानिंग एंड अचीव देम। ये शायद ये स्लाइड छूट गया था क्या हमारा क्या?
जी हाँ सर, ये नहीं हुआ है क्योंकि जो कुछ हुआ है मैंने लिखा है, वो हर चीज लिखा हुआ है।
क्वेश्चन आंसर भी नहीं हो रहेगा फिर, मतलब फिर
नहीं, क्वेश्चन आंसर हुए थे।
क्वेश्चन आंसर हुआ क्या?
जी हाँ।
चलो ठीक है, अभी एक काम करते हैं, ये कंप्लीट कर लेते हैं स्लाइड, जो दो नहीं हुआ शायद, तो फिर हम लोग ले लेते हैं।
6.2 तक सर, 6.2 डायरेक्टली, 6.1 पॉइंट, हाँ ये भी हुआ है,
हाँ
ये भी हुआ है,
हाँ। सिक्स,
ये।
ओके,
जी सर।
6.2 का विल स्टार्ट। तो इसमें व्हाट इज दिस ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन सिक्योरिटी ऑब्जेक्टिव एंड इट्स प्लानिंग? So what we need to achieve over here is to understand whether we are aligned with the ISMS policy or not. And our strategy or our implementations should be measurable and monitored and communicated, updated as needed, consider applicable requirement and risk. Okay. So these are my objective of implementing ISMS.
ओके।
Okay. So
जी हाँ।
planning will include what will be done. Basically, it can be a roadmap. Okay, what will be done, what resources are needed, who is responsible, timeline, when it will be completed, how result will be evaluated. So
ओके
these
सर।
are the objective of implementing ISMS. The
दिस विल बी
purpose,
अचीव आफ्टर ISMS।
yeah, this will be achieved. This is a period, duration basically, or you can say entire objective, how you are going to implement all those things. Okay.
ओके सर, या।
Then the purpose is to drive continuous improvement of the ISMS through targeted, measurable, and goal. So that means I have discussed last time, I think so, regarding the performance of how our performance has been calculated, how we basically perform well in quarter by quarter throughout the year. So
जी हाँ।
every year our performance is reviewed. Based on that performance, our grade will be increased.
यस।
Okay. Similarly, ISMS also need a performance review. Okay. So, performance review, how you will be reviewing, because when you align all your requirement or your policies according to ISMS, and that should be measurable, like means measurable in the sense, uh, how much, like, what is the impact, and how you are going to reduce those impact. So that kind of measurable, if things are there, that means it is effective. Otherwise, if you are not able to measure, then no point of having, or you will not be able to get the desired result over there. So that means it should be having measurable, and it should be monitored and communicated, updated whenever needed, consider applicable requirement, and its name. So these are the objective of having a good ISMS implementations. Okay.
ओके।
So planning is like what is done, how to do, what are the resources are required, who is responsible, how much time it will take, like 3 months or 6 months. So that is the timeline we can define it over here, and how result will be evaluated. So result, how you're going to evaluate in the sense, like how you will be able to see whether the result is good, bad, or very good. That kind of evaluation can be done. Okay. So as we discussed, the purpose is to have a continuous improvement through ISMS, targeted and measurable goals. So there should be a measurable goals, like you need to identify, you know, to measure how the things are working as appropriately or not, in terms of everything, in terms of risk management, in terms of policies, defining the policies, awareness, and all those things. Then as an example, reducing phishing incident by 30% in 12 months via awareness training and simulation exercise. So if I have implemented my training appropriately, okay. So what will happen in the training? I am able to understand the audience.
व्हाट आर द फिशिंग अटैक्स और
Yeah,
कैसा रोकना है,
yeah. So
कोई लिंक पे क्लिक नहीं करना है।
yes, so if I am able to convince them, or if I'm able to understand them what is phishing attack and how to avoid that, because phishing attack is the main source of having almost all the 80 to 90% of attack is happening through phishing only. So if I am able to convince the audience or an employee, or I'm able to make them understand, so what will happen? There will be a reduction on the incident. Okay, with the with the help of phishing. So I am able to like defense myself or my organization through this training and simulation exercise. So this is one of the example when I implement a complete ISMS policies which is measurable, understandable, and achieving the target, achieving the goal of ISMS to protect the information. So I am able to achieve this. So this is kind of measurable, which has been talked about in this slides. Okay.
Clear, sir.
Yeah, so one as a risk and opportunities, one we have discussed, and 1.2 is risk assessment, which identify and evaluate the security risk. In risk and operation, proactively need to plan for any threat we will able to see, and we need to improve those threats. Okay, where improvement in the sense like we are able to defend that threat successfully. So that is what proactively we need to implement everywhere. Okay. Then in 1.3, we have risk treatment, like how you're going to treat those risks, whether you are accepting the risk, mitigating the risk, or you're transferring those risks, or you are completely avoiding those risks. So that is the risk treatment plan. Choose and apply the controls basically based on the SOA. So this is a control where you implement based on the applicability. So wherever it is applicable, we implement those controls. If it is not applicable, we'll not be able to implement those controls. Then 6.2 is the objective of planning, that defining and monitoring the ISMS goal. So our goal is to make data safe, and employees should be aware about the consequences of what they're doing. And this is what we need to understand over here. So we'll start question answer. We'll see whether we are able to. We update, I think, the question
So
answer.
last time भी question answer किया था हमने शायद.
किया था. Okay.
Yeah,
So
which of the following best risk are the IS risk assessment
okay.
rating in class 6?
This we have done, I think, correct?
जी हाँ किया था sir.
Okay. फिर हम लोग will start like with another slide.
7, class 7.
The class 7 will start. Okay. So we'll start module 3. And module 3 is all about ISMS support and its operation. Okay. So support is like, will focus on the foundational support element required to effectively implement, operate, and continual improvement of ISMS, information security management. So ISMS is not a one-time job. Okay. Not a one-time job. It's a continual improvement. Fine. That means you need to have an improvement on daily basis, which is called PDCA. Okay. So throughout the year, or you can say throughout the ISMS process in an organization, we need to have appropriate support element, should require effective implementations. Okay. That means if something is not working, some control is not working, we need to implement another control. Another control. Okay. And we need to operate accordingly. And also continuous improvement so that we can achieve ISMS, which is Information Security Management System. So it includes subclasses. Number one is resources. Resources in the sense skill set, or the technology, or the process, or the policies. Everything come under the resources. Resources mean the skill set, or the person, or the human resources. Fine. And then competence. Competence means the skill set. Awareness means understanding of the process. Then communication means you need to communicate all those policies, all those informations to appropriate audience. Audience could be employee, and stakeholder. Okay, as we discussed stakeholder, what is stakeholder? So all this needs to be communicated to them. I'm audible, correct? And screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Then we need to document all those information. So we will be discussing each one, what is about the resource. So under clause 7.1 require that organizations to determine and provide the resources needed so that they can establish and implement, maintain, and continually improve. So this clause says that organization should have an enough kind of right resources, okay, to set up, run, improve, and keep ISM information security system working effectively. That means they're talking about skill set and resources. You can say like,
तो ये स्किल रिसोर्सेज में सब चीज आ जाता है ना,
yes,
मतलब ह्यूमन, मशीन्स, सर्वर्स,
yes,
फायरवॉल्स, हर चीज है ना.
everything will come in that. So here given that they have given example. Think of it like we are building a house. So what we want, we want material, workers, tools, time, and money. Similarly, we cannot build and run a security system without the people, tool, training, budget, and support. So in
Clear.
this, everything will come. Our team, firewall team also will come. IT team will also will come over here, and HR also will be there. Who will onboard the employee. Then stakeholder required for financial support, for budget. Okay, so these are all resources comes under that. So what are resources in ISMS? So people. So anything that will help to protect information. Okay, first is you have people such as security officers, IT admin, data security, data protection officer. So data protection officer will come under privacy law. Okay, it will not come here, but if we have a data which says maybe in privacy is also part of ISMS, which we need to protect the data, come under GDPR, CCPA. So here they require one person, one role basically in organization. It's a role and it's a must. Like CISO you will have, correct? CISO in an organization. In your organization, CISO is there?
Yes, sir, of course.
Yes.
It's an NBFC.
Okay. So CISO is there who deals all the cybersecurity related issues day to day, operation and all those things. So similar to CISO, we have data protection officer. This guy will report to CISO. Okay. If the company is under GDPR, if they don't have CISO also, if they don't have CISO, but there's a must for them, data protection officer, which is called DPO. So DPO is there who is responsible for protecting the data. Sounds good?
Yes, sir.
Under GDPR. Okay. Then technology, we need to have firewall, antiviruses, SIM tool, and EDR, XDR, whatever the things are there, which we protect, threat management, threat intelligence, that will come under technology. Infrastructure, we have servers, biometric access control, all the physical, logical system, database, data center will come under the infrastructure. Budget, money to buy tools, hire the staff and train employee. Knowledge, security operation policy document, threat intelligence, awareness, content. So this is the information, soft copy, or you can say as an policy document. Okay. And any information which you require to protect the data. This will come as a threat intelligence, awareness content, and on so and so. Time, basically dedication time to conduct, audit, patch system, do review. So this will come under the time management, time. So simple example for understanding is like ISO, a hospital goes for ISO. Okay, so hospital wants to get ISO certified. So here are the things they want for first they want to have a people. So they will hire a cybersecurity officer to lead this ISMS program. So what is happening? This people for company generally they outsource the consultant. They will implement ISMS. Okay, because company will not be because it's a short-term process like 6 months to 1 year. So instead of hiring people, they outsource for third party who is capable enough to implement ISMS, such as consultant, third party vendor. Sounds good?
Yes, sir.
And tools, they are purchased SIM system to monitor the log 24/7. Training, they have given the training for all the doctors and nurse about the phishing. And the time given every department 1 hour per week for risk assessment activity. Here, every department are getting gathered so that they can provide their sense of risk assessment. They can provide their viewpoint on the risk of the process, what they are following. So based on that review, we can have our what you can say conclusion or risk treatment plan or assessment plan on that. Then budget, the hospital will allocate 10 lakh yearly for this budget for having this activity. Then support, top management will sign the SMS charter and approve the hiring plan. So there is a charter. Basically, there will be a form where all the stakeholder name will be there, and the manager, head of department, CISO, everything will be, they will sign in one document. This is the initial first space. This is the first document which is required by the top management to do a sign off. That is, this is just a kind of requirement. It's a mandatory requirement where they need to having a sign off to start the process. So why 7.1 is important? Clause, if you don't have enough resource, so the IMSF will fail, consider control will not be implemented. Audit reveals a lot of gaps. Hacker can exploit the system because of no control, no firewall, only data connected to internet. So no firewall between this. Then what will happen? Hacker can exploit your system. So that is important over here. So it is likely, it's like expecting a soldier to fight without a given them a weapon for the training. Okay, so it is similar to what a soldier. So the soldier's objective is to defend its land or defend himself. So if he don't have any weapon or anything to protect himself or to protect the country, he'll not be able to achieve the target. So that is what our, in terms of our implementing of ISMS. If we don't have enough resources under clause 7.1, we'll not be able to implement effective ISMS. There will be a partial implementation because every company will have some kind of controls. Okay, but they'll not be having almost all which will protect, but some kind of controls will be there. Antivirus will be there. Access control will be there. Correct. Access control. Yeah, this all few things. Like CCTV camera will be there to monitor, but it is not full-fledged. That will not enough to protect. So we need to implement, we need to enforce, or we need to have a resource on that. So the key objective is to have a sufficient and appropriate resources. So for the allocation, which protect information asset, manage the risk, meeting ISMS goal for legal regulatory requirements. Sounds good? So type of resources which is required. Again, it is like similarly what we discussed earlier, human resources, which is the skilled employee, information security officers and auditors and trainer, technological, firewall, IPS, IDS, antivirus, encryption tools. In infrastructure, we need to have a data center, secure data center with access control, backup facility, DR should be there. This is access control should be there, so that unauthorized cannot be access to the data center. Then physical security control, CCTV camera, motion detector, and barrier and all those things should be implemented over here. In financial, there should be a budget on security project, awareness training, and risk assessment. Knowledge resources, update policies, security documentations, threat intelligence information. Time, again, allocated time for having all those activity and risk treatment plan implementations. So in implementation tips, first we need to identify the ISMS activity. So what needs to be done, such as risk assessment, audit awareness session. So these are the few things which we need to understand before we start the ISMS or activities. So estimate human resource needed, how many staff, tools, and what training is required. Align with the budget and strategic goal. Okay, align with the business strategy and the budgeting. Management involvement, leadership must ensure ongoing availability of the resources. That means funding or budgeting. Okay, and periodic review if resources are still sufficient. So ongoing, if any resource is less, so you can add more resources to it to achieve the goal. So in a real world example, as an healthcare company, they want to implement ISO. So what they have identified, it identified a need for network segmentation to reduce the attack. So what do you mean network segmentation?
Breaking the network into logical segmentation, sir.
Yeah, VLAN, we need to make a VLAN where all our data should be in separate LAN. Okay, logical segmentation. Okay, so this segmentation is very important to have it. So sales should be in separate VLAN and support services basically, or IT support. So every department should have its own VLAN, its own segmentations. Okay. Then IT to request firewall upgrade. If it is firewall they have, if it is like no, it will be a traditional firewall, and it is not NGF, correct? NGF, no, it is next generation firewall. NGFW.
Yeah,
Okay.
FW.
So NGFW, if it is not there, then they need to upgrade that. So CISO should hire network security expert. Okay, so that is come under human resource. Then to interview the security expert and hire someone. Then just an example, 10 lakh they have allocated for the training and tool. So this will demonstrate that the organization is complying with the clause 1.7 by providing the necessary resources. So all the clause what we so far we discussed 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9 and 10. Everyone should have an evidence. Okay. Got my point? There should be an evidence that for example, for clause 7.1. So you should have this budget allocation as an evidence. Correct? A person
Yes,
as a network tool they've hired from the resource that should be also having an evidence. Firewall upgrade should also have an evidence. So this is all required evidence. Okay, because ISO works on evidence. Okay.
yes.
If there is no evidence and you start implementing policies. Okay,
It is of no use.
pardon?
It is of no use then.
There is no use. So I'll just give an example. This is nothing to do with the current scenario or whatsoever. I'm just giving an example of something like for an example, a person in an organization or somewhere. Okay, he requested a management at 10 lakh for what you can say in a village basically, and then he told that I want 10 lakh so that I can make a well for water. Okay, so what will
Yes.
happen? So he has approved the budget from the management, 10 lakh he got in his bank. Okay, so on paper, so what he did on paper, he made like 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 well for water. Okay, now his work is done. So theoretically, this is fine, correct or no? Theoretically, it is fine that he requested from the management 10 lakh and for 5 well for water, and then he documented all those in a policy or in a document where he had made everything and his work is done. So technically, theoretically, it is okay. Theoretically, it is okay, fine, and you have done all those things. But now the village they want a water. So they go, they search for the well. They're not able to find that. Correct? So then the issue will be raised that there is no water in the village. Then again, so what will going to happen in essence, in technically, this is not in place. The well is not constructed or it is not correct. So if you don't have the evidence, then you are eliminating this entire physical process. So everything should be work on the evidence part. So what will going to happen are the next management. So this management gone, another management come up, and the person will request another 1 lakh or 10 lakh. So he will say, okay, now what work is remaining? So he will say, okay, there was previous one management was there, and he ordered 10 well, and then he went to see that there is no well. Now what happened? What is happening? There is no well. Then what he thought, okay, so this time what will, for what reason we ask for the approval or the budget? The reason will be to clean the well. Okay, then next year he will ask from the management that I want 10 lakh for what? To clean the well which we have created last year. So the budget get approved, and then the budget will be in their pocket. So the 10 lakh in pocket, evidence there is no well. Second year, the well again was not there, but they have taken the approval so that they want to clean the well. So this is what is happening in terms of paper, in terms of theory, which is not having actually implemented. So ISMS required an evidence. That is why there is an audit. Okay, there is an internal audit which has been done to see whether the well is created or not. Okay. Similarly, in ISMS, it has been seen that clause 5 to 8 or to 10, it is implemented or not. So everything will get documented, reviewed, sign off, and then the ISMS certified company will again review those reports which has been signed off by the internal auditor. Sounds good?
Yes, sir.
So this is an example to understand basically. Okay, so that is the example you can relate with the process what we are going to implement. So this is
Resources.
resources. Okay. Okay. Then this is to demonstrate that we are complying with the 7.1 by providing the necessary resources. Okay. For non-compliance risk, inadequate staffing. That means only one staff is managing the entire ISMS. It will become a non-compliance. Non-compliance to clause 7.1. Correct?
Yes.
Why it is non-compliance? You understand now? Because
Yes, sir. There is no enough resources. If one of the engineer is not available or person is not available, there will
yes,
be a loophole or means.
yeah. So it not be
Yeah.
sufficiently implemented, or if it is
Yes.
like he will be able to miss some of the important process or aspect. So that is the non-compliance risk over here. This is the risk. Second, lack of training. Employees on unaware of the phishing threat. So that guy will not give the training because no resource. So there should be some person who can train about the phishing attack. Then outdated security tools using obsolete antivirus software, like they are using McAfee or some other product which is not updated. Okay. So that is what we need to consider, which will come under non-compliance. No budget, unable to procure threat monitoring tool. So there'll be a monitoring tool which we need to monitor. If it is not there, then it's coming under non-compliance risk. So what will an ISO auditor will check? So here the check will come. Okay. Once you approve the budget, resource allocations happen, everything, then you need to have a check. So in check, we will need to understand who is responsible for ISMS. Okay. So what auditor will check? They will check the organizational chart, job description. That means they will see CEO, then CFO. Okay, these are reporting CISO. So all those organizations people C-suite, which is called CSUITE. Okay. Then do you have budget allocated? They will see the budget document, purchase order. Okay. Invoices and all those. PO. Are employee trained? Training, attendance, quiz results and everything. Are they enough? Are there enough tools? Software licenses, inventory, asset inventory. So enough tools in the sense we have Windows Server. They will check the license of the Windows Server. Windows PC 11, 10, M365 license, and so on and so forth. Assets inventory, like how much PC, how much firewall you have implemented, switch, router. So how you have implemented, this all will become under the inventory. They will ask for the inventory list. Are your system maintained? Server uptime log, patch schedule, and all those things. Okay, any questions? Nothing, correct?
Yes, sir.
Clear? So for the best practices on the clause 7.1 is involve senior management to get budget and buy-ins. That means stakeholder or the management. Do a resource planning session when starting or reviewing ISMS. Track who is doing what under ISMS. Review resources needs every year or major new threat tech upgrade. Okay, link resources directly to the risk and the business impact. So in summary, resources like will provide what needs to run the ISMS to grow. Real world meaning like people, money, time, tools, support to make security works. Okay, we'll have question answer. So clause 7.1, primary requires an organization to do what?
Sure, financial resources are allocated during annual budget, determine and provide the resources needed for the establishment and implementation. Sir, B. Sir, B. Determine and provide the resources needed for the establishment, implementation, maintenance.
Yeah, so this is what we need, which we need a resources, establishment and implementation process. Okay. So as a real world example, ISMS must allocate the budget for SOC, so for the SOC implementing, then training staff, implementing SIM tool, maintaining SOC certification. Okay, not just for annual approval, this is to be implemented. Okay. So when considering clause 7.1, which of the following is not an example of ISMS resource?
Person considering response, penetration testing, tooling and something. Office furnitures for reception areas. Sir.
Yes. So office reception, like related to the element that directly support ISMS, includes people will be there. Process means your IT disposal policies and technology tools, which is our testing tools, and skill person incident response will come under the people. Okay, so office furnitures is a business resources. Okay, it is not directly tied to the ISMS. Policies, skills, personnel are testing directly tools with the report to the ISMS. So business tool will come under the business resources, the office tool and all those things. Okay. So in the context of 7.1, what is the first logical step for an organization should take when determining the resources for ISMS?
Sir, B. Conduct a resource gap analysis based on the ISMS requirement. B.
Yeah, so we do conduct a gap assessment. Okay, gap assessment is very much required. Okay, so the gap assessment for every regulation such as GDPR, NIST, and HIPAA, everyone they talk about gap assessment, but in their terms will be different. Someone will take current profile. Current profile they will say. So this is the word they have changed, but they are also following the same thing what ISO are following. Okay. So this clause will require determining the resources needed before providing them. So a resource such as gap analysis will identify what is missing under ISM's objective, that is lack of skilled staff, insufficient budget, missing tools, and all those things. Okay. So as an example, a healthcare provider realized that the gap analysis that is lack secure data backup, okay, system. So this is missing. Okay, so
Yes, sir.
this become a key resource investment before the next audit. So before the next audit comes, they will implement this backup system. So which scenario best illustrate compliance with 7.1 clause?
Budget with identified ISMS resource and sir, C.
CISO aligned budget planning with identified as resources made under the treatment plan. Okay, because the budget is been planning. Okay, so here we need to align with our requirement to identify the ISMS resources so that we can do a risk treatment appropriately. Okay, so compliance is demonstrated when resources are planned and allocated, which is based on identified ISMS requirement, which is linked to the risk management. So this will ensure that ISMS had is what is need for a continual improvements. Okay, so option C reflect as a structured risk-based and justifiable approach. So, and as an example, in ransomware attack, identifying the ransomware risk, the CISO justified the budget for the EDR tool. Okay, and the staff training. This will ensure the resources are in place before the risk materialize. Sounds good? So now
Yes, sir.
the ransomware attack is the risk. So he said he wanted an EDR tool to understand the anomalous behavior on the endpoints. So with the tool, we'll be able to mitigate those risks. So under clause 7.1, this statement about resources is false.
Which statement about resource false? Resource include financial, human, technological. The resource determined should be linked to ISMS scope and objective. Once no further review is needed. Lack of adequate resources can lead to Sir, C.
Yes. C. Yes. Once C. No. Once adequate are determined at implementation, no further review needed. About false. Okay. So this
Because continuous improvement होना चाहिए ना sir.
Okay. So resource must be reviewed and adjust on ISMS evolves. Okay. So clause 7 support continual improvement. Okay. Which need ongoing review and reallocation of the resources. Here they have said no further review is needed. Okay. Once resources are determined and at implementation, no further review is needed. Let's see. Okay. So as an example, a company initially invests in the firewall, but later upgraded to a cloud-based WAF while expanding to SaaS service, adapting resources to the changes in need. That means whenever the technology grow, you need to grow yourself. You need to update with the latest technology, such as WAF and other technologies. Okay. So now we talk about clause 7.2 and what it requires.
इसमें सिर्फ दो ही क्लॉज है क्या सर? सिर्फ 7.1 and 7.2? पांच पॉइंट्स है ना, रिसोर्सेज, कॉम्पिटेंस, अवेयरनेस, कम्युनिटी एंड डॉक्यूमेंट इंफॉर्मेशन.
हाँ. तो ये कहाँ से आपने देखे क्या पहले ये वाला?
नहीं सर, लिख रहे थे ना सबसे पहले टॉपिक था अपना.
हाँ. ओके, जो पहले हमने स्टार्ट किया था वही है. जी. कॉम्पिटेंस है, फिर
अवेयरनेस है, कम्युनिकेशन है, फिर डॉक्यूमेंट
डॉक्यूमेंटेशन. Okay. So abhi okay. So competence is like what the clause says. Organization must determine the competence needed for the people doing work under its control that affects the employer. Competence means the skill set basically. Okay. So people are competent based on education, training, or their experience on implementing such tools and all those things. So take action to acquire necessary competence and evaluate the effectiveness of those actions. Retain document information and evidence of the competence. So here HR will get involved. That means background verification will be there. Okay, whether he have a good background and everything. BGV will happen. Okay, and some cases police PCC is also required. You know about this?
Yes sir, BGV background verification and PCC police clearance.
Yes.
Clearance और कुछ रहता है.
Yeah, so bank, if you are working in bank, So the PCC.
We need to have NOC for that.
Yes, NOC as well as PCC is required. Okay, so then only they will enter, they will allow you to enter to the premise. They will make your ID, they will make your matlab, work, offer letter and all those things. And then they will give you confirmation on the employment. If you have PCC, if you don't have, then they will not do. It is maybe some or most of the bank, I think. So it's an SBI rule. Okay, it's an SBI regulations. So if they are not following the PCC, that means they are non-compliant. Okay, so non-compliant, you understand now. Okay.
Yes.
If anything which is not been followed by the regulations, it could be anything. Like if they are not following the PCCI process, BGB process, then they become as a non-compliant to that. Okay. So this document they need to retain about their employee, about the PCC, background verification, skill set, their experience, previous experience, their financial statement, bank statement, and all those things will come under this documentation, such as this is called an competence. So we'll have a few detailed descriptions about the competence for like 7.2, no? 7.2, okay. So make sure your organization team knows what they are doing, and if they don't know, make sure they get the skill they needed, then proving it on the paper. Okay, it's an evidence.
Okay.
Okay, what like what is the team, okay, and what they are doing, about the resource, about the staff. Okay, so it is not just about hiring smart people, it is about identifying what skills are needed to for specific security role. Like for securing, they have hired some other person who has IT knowledge, but he doesn't know how to secure the system. So that is also a kind of a mismanagement of the skills. Okay, that is called skills mismatch, where they hire someone with another skill set for the role of security. Okay, so that kind of understanding should be there while hiring a person. Checking if your team already has those roles. Then you check whether the person already there. Then make use of that resource if he's trained enough. Then filling the gap with the training, mentoring, or hiring. So documentation proof what we can do. So during the audit, you can show, yes, these people are qualified to handle this. So this HR will give you the this yes confirmation about that competent person. Okay. So 7.2 requires an organization so that they can determine the necessary competition. How they will determine? They need to figure out what knowledge, skill set, ability, each role to perform ISMS task effectively. So you must have seen the JD, correct? The JD you have seen, they have seen
Job description.
Yeah, job description. In that they will see the expected. You should have knowledge about firewall, managing, implementing policies, troubleshooting on the firewall. You should have the skill set of WAF and all those things. So these are all this detailed description will be there in the job description. So that is the evidence. So same evidence will be captured in HR requirement. Okay, and then they document and they will search for these people and they hire. So this is one kind of proof. So this applies to only to IT security staff, but for another whose work impact information security, even non-technical roles like HR, finance, and reception should also be documented. So ensure people are competent. Access if employee already made the required competent through education, prior training, and experience. So these are the requirement to understand the skill set of a person. So take action to fill the gap. If you found the gaps, if they found that some gap is there and you're not able to find the right candidate, but you can hire that candidate and provide the training, give mentorship on the job learning, training, hiring, or of qualified staff. Evaluate the effectiveness. So after training, so once training is done, okay, you need to evaluate. Okay, so check if the competence improved. For example, post-training quizzes, simulated attack, job performance monitoring. So once you have given the training, you need to evaluate the performance of the
of the staff or the employee. Okay, so that it will ensure that it is effective. Okay, he understands well and he can implement those understanding in real life implementations. Then maintain documented evidence. So keep tracking all the evidence such as qualification, certification, assessment, and report of proof of the audit. So this everywhere they're talking about the evidence. So ISMS is all about evidence, all about documents only. Everything, even the single things needs to be documented on a paper. That's it. So key pointer for auditing here is to ISO auditor might ask, okay, as part of documentation. So as part of doc, how you identify what skills are required for each role? Can you show me proof that your staff is competent for this task? How do you check if the training you give is actually the effective? So this is what this will come basically on the test result as well as implementing. Okay, so this is what you can provide as an evidence for the auditor in terms of auditing process. So as a real world example, the bank implements ISO. So the role of data administrator, DBA. Okay, DBA, you know, na, database administrator, about who's managing the database, correct? Hello.
बोलिए सर, सुन रहा हूँ मैं।
Okay, so DBA, you know, na, in an organization who manage the database of an
जी
organization.
सर, मालूम है।
Okay.
जी हाँ।
So require understanding of database about how the data is getting encrypted, what is the data access control mechanism, and secure the backup. Access control means?
Who will be allowed?
That means username.
Yes.
Okay, user ID and the password. So on the database, it is created. DB. So on the DB, this database, the ID is getting created. Okay, so there is few system ID also, which is called SA. So this ID needs to be protected. Okay, and they need to have a backup, secure backup. So during competent assessment, ISMS team find that the DBA has never received encryption training. Okay, we ask, have you know about the encryption, how to do? He said, no, I don't have. So that is what auditor will ask you cross question and on the send. So the DBA send the bank send DBA to a certified course on the database encryption and access security measures. So after training, DBA skills are tested via a mock audit where they configured encryption and restore from an encrypted backup. So for this is a normal example about the skill set development or upgrade in terms of competence requirement of the clause 7.2. Okay, so results are documented and stored as competent evidence. Sounds good. So what will be the impact of this? So without this training, so the DBA might have stopped sensitive financial data unencrypted. So this is a compliant issue and security disaster awaiting to happen. So this will become a non-compliance, NA, NC, it will call a NC, non-compliance, because the data is not encrypted because of the sensitive in nature, because he don't know how to encrypt. No idea. So give training and implement encryption. Sounds good?
Yes, sir.
Second scenario. So as our company, they will want to implement ISO and has an employee Alex. So he's managing a firewall. Okay. Like you're doing firewall management. So you determine that the firewall admin need knowledge of network protocol, about IP address, TCP IP, access control list, intrusion prevention, vendor specific configuration, which is competence requirement. Okay. So Alex has experience in networking, but never configured a FortiGate firewall. So this is done with a base of gap assessment. Okay. So now you send Alex for a Fortinet NSE4 training. Okay. So this is to achieve the competence. So after training, Alex successfully updated the firewall rules without downtime, effectiveness checked here. So you keep a copy of Alex NSE certificate and internal firewall change test result in your competence record. That means company gives a training basically every quarter or every year. company go a training session for an employee, correct?
Yes, sir.
This is
मुझे
just
खुद
to
करवाया NSC4.
आपको करा है NEC4 करा है?
जी हाँ, sir.
Okay. So it is like how many like hour or how many months training it is?
It's not training, it's a certification, and on the portal side, it is of around 6 hour training on Fortinet portal. And you have to appear for 2 exams. One is elective and one is mandatory. So on that basis, you will get NSC4 certification. And NSC4 में आपको mandatory में 7.4 administrator करना पड़ता है, और elective में आपको 40 SIM, 40 EDR, 40 analyzer और एक रहता है, उसमें से कोई एक एग्जाम देना रहता है. आप दोनों एग्जाम पास हो गए तो आपको NSC4 का सर्टिफिकेशन मिल जाता है.
तो ये मतलब वो है ना, वैलिड है ना, मतलब ये रिक्वायरमेंट है, करेक्ट ये?
जी हाँ.
सो या सो इसमें वही मल्टीपल चॉइस ऑप्शन होता है, करेक्ट? सिनेरियो बेस्ड,
जी हाँ.
पॉलिसी बेस्ड रहता है, तो क्या टफ होता है या फिर कैसा होता है एग्जामिनेशन?
नहीं सर, मल्टीपल चॉइस क्वेश्चन ही रहता है.
तो आसान रहता है मतलब ना?
हाँ.
Okay. So this is what this company is providing the training for all the employee so that they upgrade themselves. So there should not be any hindrance. So that is basically a compliance on clause 7. Okay. So every company, they do all those things and it is required. So this out of like your company is ISO certified?
Yes sir, last month only.
ISO last month they have done. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So based on that, so they need to have to follow all those training set schedule and all those things. Okay. So it's a continuous improvement needs to be done. So that's why they're giving the training to all the employees, such as you have been attend for the NSC4 training. Okay. So question answer is already given here over here. So under clause 7.2, we have the best competence is B. That means need to demonstrate the ability to apply knowledge and skill set to achieve the
मतलब ये कह सकते हैं सर 7.2 इज कम्प्लीटली बेस्ड ऑन नॉलेज ओनली और कॉम्पिटेंस के, मतलब एक प्रोडक्ट का कितना नॉलेज आप रखते हो वही चीज के बारे में.
हाँ वही चीज के बारे में ये
7.2 पूरा वही है.
हाँ, कॉम्पिटेंस के बारे में बेसिकली एक बंदे को क्या उसको आता है, पॉलिसीज बनाना आता है, EDR आता है बराबर, सॉक में मॉनिटरिंग करना आता है, अलर्ट देखने आता है, उसको रिवर्स इंजीनियरिंग करने आता है या नहीं, वो सब चीजें सिखाती है, और नहीं आता तो उसको ट्रेनिंग देंगे. Okay, that is the objective over here. Okay, so the competence is not just to about formal qualification or certification, but the ability to effectively apply the knowledge and skill. अगर उसको मिल गया काम, मतलब ट्रेनिंग हो गया, लेकिन वो अप्लाई नहीं कर पा रहा है, so that is also one of the concern which need to ensure that ISMS objectives are achieved. यानी कि वो knowledge apply कर पाए हमारा. Okay, so which is the focuses on evidence and ability, not just a credentials. मतलब सर्टिफिकेशन लेके बैठ जाना नहीं, हमको वो नॉलेज को अप्लाई करना आना भी चाहिए, वो इसका कंसर्न है कॉम्पिटेंस का. ओके, सो व्हिच डिटरमाइन कॉम्पिटेंस रिक्वायरमेंट अंडर सिविल क्लॉज, व्हिच फैक्टर इज द मोस्ट क्रूशियल ओवर हियर?
हाँ, क्या लिखा है? Which of the following competence requirement clause 7.2 which factor number of years of experience, the specific risk and control relevant to the personal role, the individual's job's title, the size of the organization. So the individual's job title ना.
Okay, which is remind competence required under the clause 7, which is most critical. The specific risk and control relevant to the person's role. हाँ, ये जो this is the answer. Okay, so specific risk and control relevant to the person's role. So the competence must align with the context of the organization SMS policy, meaning the specific threat, risk, and access control that apply to the personal responsibility. Year of experience, the job title alone doesn't guarantee the competence. यानी कि आपको
जो भी रोल लिया गया.
you have certified, you have the knowledge, but how you will be able to judge that? So that is what the specific risk and the control relevant to the person's role. कि वो कॉम्पिटेंस उधर यूज हो रहा है या नहीं, वो जो है वो इंपॉर्टेंट है, वहां पर उसको वो समझना आना चाहिए. ईयर ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस, जॉब टाइटल डजंट अलोन गारंटी द कॉम्पिटेंस. अभी तुम्हारे पास इंडिविजुअल जॉब टाइटल है, फायरवॉल इंजीनियर है, नंबर ऑफ ईयर एक्सपीरियंस है, लेकिन स्पेसिफिक रिस्क के अंदर वो कंट्रोल इम्प्लीमेंट कर पा रहा है, नहीं कर पा रहा, वो इंपॉर्टेंट है. समझ में आ गया कॉम्पिटेंस का मतलब?
Yes sir.
ओके, मतलब जो चीज हमारे पास नॉलेज है उसको हम लोग कंट्रोल में, रिस्क स्पेसिफिक कंट्रोल हम लोग रेलेवेंट कर रहे हैं नहीं कर रहे हैं, वो इसका जो है अंडरस्टैंडिंग है इसके अंदर. ठीक है. As an organization, ISMS auditor will identify that a network security analyst has completed multiple certification but never worked on actual incident. So incident response, okay, knowledge है लेकिन वो knowledge implement नहीं कर पाया जब से firewall down हो गया, तो वो टाइम पे क्या करेगा? तो what should the organization do?
सी।
Yes, उनको on job training with practical exercise. Okay, so practical competence is also one of the case where real world application, if experience is missing, hands-on training and simulations, or the mentorship should arrange for the to bridge the gap. Bridge the gap means
जो भी कमी है उसको पूरी करना।
so that is what we need to do over here. So which of the following is required documented information under clause 7.1, 7.2?
टू के अंदर एविडेंस ऑफ कॉम्पिटेंस सच एज ट्रेनिंग रिकॉर्ड ऑफ परफॉर्मेंस।
सर बी, एविडेंस ऑफ कॉम्पिटेंसेस सच एज ट्रेनिंग रिकॉर्ड्स ऑफ परफॉर्मेंस आर।
Yes, so this is the answer. Written document of the information showing the employee competence. That will include training records, certification, practical assessment report, or skill evaluation result. So a small IT security company hire a penetration tester with no prior ISO 27001 knowledge. According to the clause 7.2, what is the most appropriate next step?
सी।
B.
C. Provide targeted training on ISMS requirement and test competence afterward. B.
Yes.
हाँ।
So we need to give a training on the competence. Okay. So this require organization to fill the competence gap through the training and mentoring. Mentoring means, you know, mentoring.
क्या कहते हो सर? मेंटरिंग, सर किसी के सरपरस्ती में कुछ सीखना।
So this is what mentoring, like our manager, they will mentor senior manager, head of department, they will come and they will say, okay, you have to do this, you have to do this, this is what is expected. They will share our experience and they will guide. So basically their guidance or they are sharing an experience is called a mentoring. Okay. So training is what needs to be done, mentoring is what needs to be done, or other development method. The effectiveness of this training should be evaluated before the person perform ISMS critical. Evaluation means
इवैल्यूएशंस, वो बताना सर। कैन बी इवैल्यूएटेड। इवैल्यूएशन मतलब सर वो करना, क्या कहते हैं?
examine करना.
एग्जामिन करना। इंग्लिश वर्ड
Okay,
नहीं मिल
so
रहा था।
we need to examine that area, that person after the training or after the training or implementation. So that means you need to evaluate that the performance that the person performs SMS critical task. कि बंदा वो कर पा रहा है तो उसको हमको देखना है कि वो कर रहा है नहीं कर रहा है. तो that is what we need to do as an evaluation. Okay, so now we have 7.3 awareness. Okay, in that clause, all the relevant person such as employee or the contractor or the temporary staff and even external parties are aware of their role in the maintaining the ISMS. That means every employee should have the awareness कि मैं यहाँ काम क्यों कर रहा हूँ, मुझे क्या मेरे से क्या expect करती है company. Okay, that kind of awareness should be there. So it is about moving beyond just training the people. It is making sure they actually understand. क्या होता है, हम ट्रेनिंग ले लेते हैं, 8 आवर्स ट्रेनिंग ले ली है, उसमें करना क्या है हमको, वो हमको अवेयर नहीं है. नो अवेयरनेस. ओके, तो हमको अवेयर करना है लोगों को ट्रेनिंग देने के बाद. करेक्ट. सो
जी हाँ सर।
व्हाट द इंफॉर्मेशन सिक्योरिटी पॉलिसी सेज, व्हाट एक्सपेक्टेड ऑफ देम इन प्रोटेक्टिंग द इंफॉर्मेशन, द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ नॉट फॉलोइंग एसएमएस रिक्वायरमेंट. ओके, अब मैं ट्रेनिंग दे दिया बंदे को कि भाई हमारा कंपनी के अंदर FortiGate यूज हो रहा है, फायरवॉल. अब मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, मैं अपने कंप्यूटर को बोल रहा हूँ या कोई हैकर को बोल रहा हूँ कि मेरे पास FortiGate एप्लीकेशन है, फायरवॉल है, इसका वर्जन ये है और इसमें ये थोड़ा सा लूप होल है, थोड़ा सा हम लोगों ने पैच नहीं किया, कोई पैच बाकी है. ये इन्फॉर्मेशन मैंने दे दिया, किसी को दे दिया, हैकर को दे दिया मैंने. तो ये क्या हो गया, अवेयरनेस हो गया. हम तो ट्रेनिंग में आपको बोल रहे हैं कि डोंट शेयर एनी कॉन्फिडेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन, करेक्ट? ट्रेनिंग में आपको बोल दिया कि डोंट शेयर एनी इंफॉर्मेशन विच इज रेलेवेंट टू आवर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन टू द थर्ड पार्टी। ये हमने
जी
ट्रेनिंग
हाँ।
दे दिया, ऑर्गेनाइज ट्रेनिंग दे दिया, लेकिन उसके बाद भी मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, सबको मैं क्या इन्फॉर्म कर रहा हूँ अबाउट अवर इंफॉर्मेशन। So that means we are not aware about what we are doing in our organization. Okay, so that is what is expected over here. Every individual in an organization should follow the protocol, should understand what their role is, what they want to do, what is expected from him in terms of their job profile, job role, and all those things to protect the information system, ISO requirement, and security policies. So under this, key requirement is they should be aware of the information security policies. They must know the
सर एक
existence.
मिनट, वो लास्ट पॉइंट क्या था कि एक पहले तो वो था कि व्हाट सिक्योरिटी पॉलिसी सेज, सेकंड वाज व्हाट एक्सपेक्टेड फ्रॉम देम एंड द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ नॉट फॉलोइंग आईएसएस। अच्छा।
हाँ, तो अगर if they are not following the ISMS requirement, so this is what they need to understand कि मेरा ISMS फॉलो करने के लिए मेरा क्या इम्पैक्ट होगा। ओके, अगर मैं ISMS रिक्वायरमेंट फॉलो नहीं कर रहा हूँ, ISMS रिक्वायरमेंट मतलब मेरा अवेयरनेस इज वन ऑफ द रिक्वायरमेंट। तो उससे पहले हमारे जितने भी रिक्वायरमेंट थी, रिसोर्सेस है, वो भी एक हमारा ISMS का पॉलिसीज है। अगर ये सब रिक्वायरमेंट मुझे अवेयरनेस नहीं है तो मैं फेल हूँ। कोई स्पेसिफिक नहीं है, कोई स्पेसिफिक चीज के अंदर नहीं है, मेरा एंटायर चीज को मुझे क्या करना पड़ेगा, मुझे अवेयर होना चाहिए।
क्लियर है सर।
ओके, so here as a requirement, so what we need to know, we need to know the existence, purpose, key point of the policies. Okay, so security policies means हमारा जो डिफाइन करने वाले हैं आईटी के अंदर या ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के अंदर एज अ होल, ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के अंदर जो पॉलिसी है, जो रिटर्न डॉक्यूमेंट है। ओके, सो रिटर्न डॉक्यूमेंट में मेरे को एग्जिस्टेंस क्या है, मेरे इसमें पर्पस क्या है, की पॉइंट्स क्या है ऑफ द पॉलिसीज। So as an example, an employee in financial should know they must log their computer when away, not because IT said so, but because it's a part of organization security policy. So this is one of the example. मेरा security policies में लिखा हुआ है कि सिस्टम लॉक करना है। ओके, लॉग इसलिए नहीं करना है कि मेरा IT वाले ने मुझे बोला है कि लॉक करना है, तो लॉग इसलिए करना है कि मेरा ऑर्गेनाइज पॉलिसी में है। So this is come under the awareness. Sounds good?
यस सर।
अब आपको अवेयरनेस ही नहीं है, आप बोलोगे कि यार मैं लॉक इसलिए कर रहा हूँ कि वो बंदा ने, आईटी वाला सपोर्ट ने आके बोला कि सिर्फ पीसी छोड़ के जा रहा हूँ, तुम लॉक कर दो, तो मैं लॉक कर दिया मैंने। लेकिन किसके लिए लॉक करना है, उसमें क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है? इसलिए लॉक करना है कि कोई आपका एक्सेस ना कर पाए
ना
आपका
ले, बिरयानी पार्टी का मेल ना डाले।
हाँ, हाँ, बिरयानी पार्टी ये सब जो मेल ना डाले। तो ये जो है अवेयरनेस उसको होना चाहिए। अगर नहीं है अवेयरनेस तो कोई फायदे का नहीं है। तो ये काम मिलेगा जब हमको ट्रेनिंग देंगे, तो वो टाइम पे उसको देना है। यानी कि एक होता ट्रेनिंग ले लिया, ट्रेनिंग हो गया, उसके बाद फिर क्या करना है उससे, वो अवेयरनेस नहीं समझ में आता। तो वो जो है अवेयरनेस हमको लेके आना है यहाँ पर। ओके, so their contribution to the effectiveness of the ISMS, they must understand how their everyday actions protect information and support security objectives. So ये एक दिन का नहीं है, it is like everyday's business. Okay, everyday's action to protect the information and security and support security effectiveness. So as an example, a receptionist checking visitor IDs, helping enforce access control, a direct ISMS requirement. Okay, वो चेक करती है कि कोई बंदा अनऑथराइज तो नहीं है, आईडी बराबर है या नहीं है। तो वो एक एक रिक्वायरमेंट है जो चेक करना है। दिस इज काइंड ऑफ अवेयरनेस। ओके, सो द इम्प्लीकेशन ऑफ नॉट कंफर्मिंग टू द ISMS रिक्वायरमेंट। सो नॉन कंफर्मिंग मतलब काम नहीं करना। ओके, विच इज कॉल्ड NC, नॉन कंफर्मेंस, जो इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं हुआ है। Implementation means उसका impact. Okay, so they should know the consequences, means the implication or the impact back to the organizations and themselves, both to the organization and themselves कि क्या होगा अगर हम अवेयर नहीं है, फॉलो नहीं करेंगे। तो implications होगा, security loopholes होंगे, data theft होगा, all those things. So as an example, an employee accidentally sent a sensitive data to wrong recipient. It could trigger a data breach, cause reputational damage and lead to regulatory fines. तो अगर बंदा कुछ कॉन्फिडेंशियल डेटा है जो भेज दिया बाहर, तो क्या होगा? डेटा ब्रीच है, दैट इज इंटेंशनल और अनइंटेंशनल, एंड रेपुटेशन डैमेज हो जाएगा कि कंपनी के पास इतना भी दिमाग नहीं है एम्प्लॉय के पास, या इतने रिसोर्सेज इनके अप्रोप्रिएट नहीं है, टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं है, जो ये डेटा जो है उन्होंने क्या किया, बेच दिया, ब्रीच कर दिया. सो इट इज ऑल्सो अ रेगुलेटरी रिक्वायरमेंट लाइक SBI will fine the bank for sending this data. Okay. So how to implement clause 7.3? Awareness program, posters should be there, newsletter, email campaign, intranet portal. So you must be seeing in your organization will have lot of our desktop में wallpaper रहेगा. Okay. Wallpaper में है policies होता है, correct? Password policies रहेगा, lockout policies का wallpaper रहेगा. आपके wallpaper में क्या policies है?
कंपनी की सर रिस्क पॉलिसी का ही वो है,
क्या लिखा हुआ?
ये फॉलो करना चाहिए। अकाउंट ये
क्या?
स्क्रीन लॉक रहना चाहिए हमेशा, और डू नॉट शेयर एनी प्राइवेट डिटेल्स विद एनीवन, और वो सब बहुत सी चीज लिखी हुई है।
तो
हमारे
हमारा
यहाँ
जो
पे
हमारा जो स्क्रीन, हमारा जो डेस्कटॉप स्क्रीन है ना, वो पॉलिसी का डॉक्यूमेंट बन गया है वो.
या
बट दिस इज नॉट शुड बी द केस एक्चुअली. बट क्या करेंगे, दूसरा हमारे पास ऑप्शन नहीं है, वी आर यूजिंग अवर डेस्कटॉप. बट दिस इज ऑल्सो incorrect process, what in my opinion actually, if you go in depth, this is not appropriate. Basically
सॉरी
you
आप
are you are not you
क्यों सर?
you are not value your policy.
मुझे ऐसा क्यों बोले आप? समझना चाहूंगा।
अगर आप डेस्कटॉप में डाल रहे हो, यू आर नॉट वैल्यू, आप अपना पॉलिसी को वैल्यू नहीं कर रहे हो.
अच्छा, हाँ,
ओके. क्योंकि
मतलब मैं हमेशा रिमाइंड करने की जरूरत पड़ी, आपका ये कहना?
हाँ, मतलब अभी एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में देखा, वहां पर जो है सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट का पॉलिसी है, विच इज गुड, विच इज गुड. जो फीमेल सेक्सुअल हैरासी होता है, POSC बोलते हैं,
पॉश, हमारे यहाँ
पॉश.
पॉश कहा जाता है।
हाँ, पॉश. तो पॉश जो है वो आपके इसमें है, आपके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में?
हाँ सर, है ना, बहुत है।
हाँ, तो वो डेस्कटॉप में है या फिर कोई स्क्रीन में कहीं
नहीं नहीं, वो सब तो नहीं है। स्क्रीन पे सिर्फ IT रिलेटेड ही है कि बाहर का कोई मेल ओपन ना किया जाए, किसी
हाँ,
की को कुछ और डिटेल्स, मतलब ये IT रिलेटेड ही है।
huh. So
That's
why
not fun.
this? So why these are posters? Why this desktop? They made on the desktop, on the desktop policies and all those things to have an awareness. Okay, poster लगाया जाता है हर डिपार्टमेंट में, न्यूज लेटर देते हैं, ईमेल में मेल आता है, इंटरनेट पोर्टल्स में लगा रहता है कि ये सब पॉलिसीज है तुम्हारा. ओके. देन मंथली क्वार्टरली शॉर्ट सेशन भी होते हैं, सिनेरियो बेस्ड अवेयरनेस, फिशिंग सिमुलेशन, रोल्स, स्पेसिफिक सेक्रेटरी रिमाइंडर, न्यू एम्प्लॉय ओरिएंटेशन. जब बंदे का एम्प्लॉय ज्वाइन होता है तो इंडक्शन होता है, इंडक्शन से बताया जाता है कि ये काम करना है तुमको, डू एंड डोंट्स, करेक्ट, इंडक्शन में होता है.
ये सर होता है।
ग्रामिफिकेशन क्विज होता है, कंसेप्ट ऑफ अवेयरनेस एंड सिक्योरिटी फंड्स. ओके. कोई कंपनी में तो बहुत ज्यादा ही होता है, जो इतना ज्यादा भी करने की जरूरत नहीं है, बहुत ज्यादा होता है बहुत सारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर. ओके. एविडेंस फॉर द ऑडिटर. So when auditors check clause 7.3, they must look for what? Training records, attendance log, कितने लोग आए हैं, ट्रेनिंग क्या दिया हुआ है, screenshot of sample of awareness training material, email or posters, employee interview to confirm they understand policy basic, matrix for phishing, simulations and awareness quiz. So as a real world example, employee receive an email claiming to be from CEO asking for the urgent payment to a vendor. तो अभी तुम CEO ने बोल दिया कि मैं पेमेंट रिलीज कर दो वेंडर को. तो अगर एम्प्लॉय इज अवेयर ऑफ द फिशिंग रिस्क, तो CEO fraud tactics and the company's payment verification policies, they will pause, verify and report the email instead of sending the money. तो अगर उसको ट्रेनिंग मिला होगा तो वो नहीं पे करेगा. ओके. अगर ट्रेनिंग नहीं मिला तो वो क्या करेगा, पे कर देगा, और वो क्या रहेगा, फ्रॉड रहेगा. So if they are trained in once, they not be kept aware. Okay, they might forget this risk over time and fall victim. So if they are only trained once but not kept aware, तो क्या होगा कि वो विक्टिम में फॉल हो जाएंगे. ट्रेन तो दे दिया लेकिन अवेयरनेस नहीं है, बार बार डेस्कटॉप में नहीं लगाया है और पोस्टर नहीं लगाया है, इंटरनेट में लेगा तो भूल जाएगा फिर वो. Okay, so 7.3 requires organization to ensure that employees are aware of certain information require security involvement. Which of the following is not explicitly mentioned as required awareness on the clause 7.3? क्या है?
Mention as required information from after the information security policy, the context with effectiveness of the awareness, the consequences of not considering this treatment plan. Treatment plan, you know,
Following is not explicitly mentioned as a required awareness item in the performance security policies.
डी नहीं बताया गया, इंफॉर्मेशन सिक्योरिटी पॉलिसी बताई जाती है, फिर ये बताई जाती है कि आपका कंट्रीब्यूशन क्या है, आपसे एक्सपेक्टेड क्या है, कॉन्सिक्वेंसेज अगर आप नहीं करोगे तो वो बताया जाता है, लेकिन ये नहीं बताता कि इसका ट्रीटमेंट क्या है. दिस ट्रीटमेंट प्लान इज नॉट मेंशन्ड इन 7.3 सर. डी
So-
डी
D, huh? Yes.
हाँ.
So it's not explicitly mentioned on the required awareness training. Okay. इसमें पॉलिसी के बारे में बताया जाता है, ठीक है. कंट्रीब्यूशन इफेक्टिवनेस आईएसएम बताया जाता है, कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस ऑफ नॉट कंफर्म टू आईएसएम बताता है, लेकिन फुल ट्रीटमेंट प्लान इन टेक्निकल डिटेल इज नॉट बीन अंडर द
बराबर.
okay. So 7.3 requires awareness of IS policies, individuals' contribution to ISM effectiveness, and its consequences upon non-compliance. It does not require all employees to know the full technical detail of the risk treatment plan. जरूरत नहीं है पूरे एम्प्लॉय को समझना कि तुम रिस्क ट्रीटमेंट क्या करने वाले हो. Okay. It is more relevant to those directly responsible for the implementation. जो जगह का है, जैसे फायरवॉल में क्या इम्प्लीमेंट कर रहे हो, क्या ट्रीटमेंट प्लान कर रहे हो, वो फायरवॉल वाला ही जाने.
Yeah.
So which method would be considered non-compliant, which is with ISO 27002 10.3 awareness requirement?
Non-compliant issue. Conducting a mandatory annual security awareness training of non-compliant required staff to sign statement acknowledgement of information, making awareness optional for IPRs providing periodication. सर सी मेकिंग अवेयरनेस ऑप्शनल, क्योंकि ऑप्शनल चीज नहीं है वो, हर किसी के लिए लाजिम चीज है वो.
Yes. So awareness is a mandatory, okay, for all the personnel whose activity can be affect the ISO regardless of their department or technical expertise, making it optional for non-IT role violating the standard. Under clause 7.3, required active awareness activities must ensure that employee understand the consequences of non-compliance. What is the primary reason for this requirement?
That's right. Understand the consequences of non-compliance of the following is the primary reason. That is intentional employment can create their own disciplinary policies, negligent or intentional segregations, ATS. इसका क्वेश्चन का मतलब नहीं समझा. अवेयरनेस एक्टिविटीज मस्ट इंश्योर दैट एम्प्लॉयज अंडरस्टैंड द कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस ऑफ नहीं होना चाहिए नॉन कंफॉर्मेंस. Which of the following is the primary reason of this? बी रहेगा सर. बी. इसका क्वेश्चन मतलब बता सकते हो सर मेरे को, आप क्वेश्चन का मतलब क्या हो रहा है? थोड़ी गाड़ी इंग्लिश है.
आंसर क्या?
क्वेश्चन एक बार समझा सकते हो आप मेरे को?
क्वेश्चन क्या बोल रहा
हाँ.
है? अवेयरनेस का जो एक्टिविटी है, must ensure that employees understand the consequences of non-compliance. Okay.
नॉन कंप्लायंस नहीं सर, नॉन कन्फॉर्मेंस लिखा हुआ है.
हाँ, non-conformance मतलब आप बंदे को अवेयर नहीं हो रहा है, मतलब non-conformance. Okay, so which of the following is the primary reason for this requirement? So the ensure employee can create their own disciplinary policies. To ensure employees can create their own disciplinary policy to determine neglect or international, to deter negligent or intentional security breach. Maybe B है, I think B हाँ, to deter the negligent or intentional security breach. इसमें क्या होगा कि अगर वो अवेयरनेस नहीं है, ओके, इसको ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, तो क्या करेगा वो, क्या करेगा वो, नेग्लिजेंट हो जाएगा,
लापरवाही से देगा फिर।
लापरवाही हो जाएगा वो, ठीक है, नेग्लिजेंट करते रहेगा और वो बहुत एरर करते रहेगा, मिस्टेक करता रहेगा, ओके। एंड इंटेंशनल भी हो जाएगा वो। इंटेंशनल मतलब अरे छोड़ो यार, भगाओ, फोन लॉक करता है पीसी, बार बार लॉक करो यार, क्या है ये, तो मैं क्या करूंगा, अनइंटेंशनल मैं लॉक कर छोड़ के चले जाऊंगा और नेग्लेक्ट करूंगा मैं, ये इसमें क्या हो जाएगा, नॉन कंफर्मेंस, यानी कि मैं इसको फॉलो नहीं, नॉन कंफर्मेंस मतलब नो, डोंट फॉलो,
ओके
ठीक,
सर, समझा।
मैं फॉलो नहीं करूंगा, मैं नॉन कंफर्मिटी हो जाऊंगा, और मेरा क्या है, इसको नेग्लेक्ट कर दूंगा, और इंटेंशनली जानबूझ के मैं क्या करूंगा, पीसी लॉक नहीं करूंगा मैं, ओके। सो इसका जो है कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस है, समझ में आ गए, एकदम क्लियर।
एकदम क्लियर सर।
हाँ, ये कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस होंगे जब तुम नेग्लेक्ट करोगे और इंटेंशनली पीसी छोड़ के जाओगे ओपन, तो तुम क्या हो जाओगे, नॉन कंप्लायंस हो जाओगे। नॉन कंप्लायंस होने का मतलब क्या, तुम अवेयरनेस तुम्हारा ब्रेक हो गया वही है, ठीक है, अवेयरनेस तुम्हारा टूट गया है यहाँ पर। सो मेकिंग एम्प्लॉय अवेयर ऑफ द कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस सच एज डिसिप्लिनरी, कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअल और लीगल हेल्प reduce the intentional and negligent security violations. This also aligned with the fostering a security consequence culture. तो टफ क्वेश्चन था, anyway समझ में आ गया। A security awareness program is conducted once at employee onboarding with no refresher session. Okay. Afterward, which of the following best describe the approach of under 7.3? Full compliant, non-compliant, acceptable, sufficient?
सर बी रहेगा।
Lack of ongoing awareness? Yes. So non-compliant due to lack of ongoing awareness reinforcement. So awareness program is conducted once on onboarding with no refresher. So यही है, तो ongoing awareness होना चाहिए, ठीक है। So there should be an ongoing awareness. So one time onboarding session is not enough because threat evolves. So refresh training is required. Updation is there. Reminder should be there to maintain the compliance.
हमारे यहाँ पे कुछ 3 3 महीने पे एक मतलब दे दिया जाता है ट्रेनिंग सेशन उसका, और जवाब देना पड़ता है सर। मैंडेटरी कोर्स होता है वो।
कौन सा
और
ट्रेनिंग?
मैंडेटरी कोर्स हमारे यहाँ पे
हाँ हाँ,
मैंडेटरी कोर्स होता है, हर क्वार्टर पे एक बार होता है वो।
हर क्वार्टर में। तो
हाँ, इट इज अ मॉड्यूल ऑफ 6 7
तो
टॉपिक्स। उसमें
क्या
फौज भी
क्या
आता है, आईटी रिलेटेड भी आता है,
हाँ
हमारा जो बिजनेस है उसके रिलेटेड आता है।
हाँ, तो वो
सब
क्या है,
चीज
वो
आता
सब
है।
अवेयरनेस में आता है, वो सब पूरा अवेयरनेस में आता है, ओके।
जी।
तो अभी ये चीजें, जितनी भी चीजें हम लोग जो सीख रहे हैं अभी, ठीक है, अभी ये चीजें जो सीख रहे हैं, लेकिन इसमें क्या, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो है ऑलरेडी कर रहा है, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन दे
जी
आर फॉलोइंग, बट ऑन व्हाट बेसिस दे आर फॉलोइंग दे डोंट नो, ओके।
नहीं सर, दे नो, वी डोंट नो।
No, no, no. We know, we don't know. That is I understand. That is one consent. But एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर ये चीजें हो रही है, ये कर रहे हैं, तो वो उन लोग क्या है, एक्सपीरियंस के बेसिस पे कर रहे हैं,
जी
ठीक
हाँ।
है, कि मुझे करना है। अब जैसे एक आदमी को भूख लगी है, तो मैं खाना खा रहा हूँ, तो मुझे मालूम है मुझे खाना खाना है करके। अब
जी
खाना
हाँ।
क्यों खाना है, मुझे एक्टिव रहने के लिए खाना है, मेरा हेल्थ
जी
के
हाँ।
लिए खाना है, ठीक है, ये तो मुझे कंसाइज होना चाहिए ना।
जी
तो सिमिलरली ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर उन लोग ट्रेनिंग देते हैं, सब कुछ करते हैं, लेकिन क्यों करना है वो उनको नहीं मालूम है,
हाँ।
ओके। अभी उनको बोलेंगे कि मेरा आईएसओ है, इसलिए मैं कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है, ये कंसर्न है, ठीक है, आईएसओ है तो करना ही है, ठीक है, नहीं तो तुम्हारा सर्टिफिकेशन वैलिड इनवैलिड हो जाएगा।
जी
और
हाँ।
इसके अलावा मैं कर रहा हूँ डेटा प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए, ओके। जो भी मैं कर रहा हूँ पूरा डेटा प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए, ऐसा नहीं कि मैं खा रहा तो खाना खाते जा रहा हूँ, मैं बस खाना खाना जीने के लिए नहीं, अपना बदन बन रहा है, उसके अंदर सेहत बन रही है, उसका क्या एंड रिजल्ट क्या है। तो उसी तरह ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर बहुत सारी चीजें, इधर अवेयरनेस का भी इशू हो जाता है। तो अवेयरनेस क्या है इसके अंदर, मैं ट्रेनिंग ले रहा हूँ, मैनेजमेंट ट्रेनिंग कंडक्ट कर रहा है, चल रहा है, हो रहा है, लेकिन क्यों कर रहा है भाई, ट्रेनिंग का क्या फायदा क्या है, उसका रिजल्ट क्या आ रहा है, लोगों को समझ में आ रहा नहीं आ रहा है, कितने ब्रीचेस तुमने स्टॉप किए हैं, कितना हैकिंग स्टॉप किए हुए हैं, बस करे जा रहे हो, लेकिन उनका एंड रिजल्ट क्या है? डेटा प्रोटेक्शन एंड रिजल्ट है, वो तो किसी को मालूम नहीं है। अभी इतना सारा जो ब्रीचेस हो रहे हैं, लॉट ऑफ ब्रीचेस इज हैपनिंग। सबके पास पॉलिसीज है क्या? नहीं। सबके पास डेटा प्रोटेक्शन का टूल्स है क्या? नहीं। सब ने दिया है, सब ने किया है, लेकिन उनको अवेयरनेस नहीं है, उनको पता नहीं है कि कैसा हमको ये चीजें इंप्लीमेंट करना है। देयर इज सम लूप होल। So
Yeah.
that is what you we require as an awareness under clause 7। वही अवेयरनेस का मतलब क्या है कि मैं डेटा प्रोटेक्ट करना है। डेटा प्रोटेक्ट करने का मतलब ये नहीं कि तुम फायरवॉल को अच्छा बना दो, पॉलिसीज अच्छा लिख लो, सब कुछ हो गया, फिर भी डेटा ब्रीच क्यों हो रहा है? इतना सारा डेटा, बिलियंस ऑफ डेटा आज जो है ब्रीच हुआ है लास्ट ईयर, लास्ट मंथ के अंदर, कि सबके
हाँ सर, पढ़ा था, पढ़ा था।
सबका जीमेल का पासवर्ड गया, सबका गया। तो क्या है तुम्हारे, तुमने व्हाट यू हैव इम्प्लीमेंटेड? दैट इज माय क्वेश्चन, बिकॉज यू आर नॉट अवेयर कि इसका एंड रिजल्ट क्या है। तुम्हारा एंड रिजल्ट, फायरवॉल का एंड रिजल्ट क्या है? वो बोलेगा मेरा जो डेटा मेरा नेटिंग हो रहा है, बस मेरा बस यही कंसर्न है। डेटा बाहर जा रहा है, अंदर आ रहा है, बस मेरा ये काम है। भाई डेटा चोरी हो रहा है, उसका क्या कंसर्न है तुम्हारा? तो तुम्हारा उसके अंदर होना चाहिए ना, यू शुड ऑल्सो रिस्पॉन्सिबल इन टू दैट एरिया। और जो जो बंदा जो तुम्हारे अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस हु इज मैनेजिंग द शो, मैनेजिंग द आईटी, ही शुड अंडरस्टैंड कि फायरवॉल का काम थोड़ी यही है कि और कुछ देखो क्या है, पैकेट इंस्पेक्शन का एनेबल करो, डेटा कैसा चोरी हो रहा है, फायरवॉल कैसा, बहुत सारी चीजें इसके अंदर जो अवेयर नहीं है। और ये बहुत ही like what you can say, it's impossible, it is not impossible, but it is difficult, it's a challenge to understand each and everything, because there is a gap between the department। Okay, this gap we need to fill। ये गैप जो बंदा फिल कर दिया, that means he is aware and he can be success in protecting the data। I cannot say 100%, but quite some extent he can secure the data if he is aware about the gap between the department। Okay, every department have its own gap when it pass beyond its own ownership। कुछ चीजें जो बाहर जाती है, which is called gray area, which nobody takes ownership। So here the problem is about the ownership। So if we talk about more on ownership, there'll be a different kind of session, and it will be like huge session on the ownership of the data। So currently nobody owns।
सर मुझको लास्ट लेक्चर, मतलब लेक्चर के आखिर में आपसे पूछना चाहूंगा ग्रे बॉक्स के बारे में। हाँ, लेकिन कंटिन्यू करते लेक्चर। लेकिन मैं आखिर में ये पूछना चाहूंगा आपसे ग्रे बॉक्स के बारे में जरा।
ओके, ग्रे बॉक्स हैकिंग का बोल रहे हो आप या क्या ग्रे एरिया का बात कर रहे हो?
आपने जो ग्रे एरिया बताया,
हाँ,
उसी से ताल्लुक, अगर मैं गलत नहीं हूँ तो क्या ग्रे बॉक्स भी उसी ताल्लुक से ही है?
ग्रे बॉक्स
ग्रे
ग्रे
बॉक्स
बॉक्स
टेस्टिंग।
ग्रे बॉक्स टेक्सटिंग जो है, हाँ उसी के ताल्लुक से ही है। ग्रे बॉक्स टेक्सटिंग में, ग्रे बॉक्स टेक्सटिंग में क्या होगा कि इट इज मिक्स ऑफ व्हाइट एंड लाइक व्हाइट बॉक्स एंड ब्लैक बॉक्स। तो व्हाइट बॉक्स मालूम है और ब्लैक बॉक्स मालूम है आपको?
नहीं सर, अगर आप रोशनी डाल सकते हो बेहतर होगा।
तो वो एक मतलब एथिकल हैकिंग, पेन टेस्टिंग का एक प्रोसेस है।
हमें ये मालूम है कि ऑरेंज आईडी और ये पर ऑरेंज और रेड, सॉरी ब्लू एंड रेड। ब्लू आईडी मीन्स हम लोग ऑफ वो रहते हैं, इंटरनल हैकर्स होते हैं और चेक करते हैं, पेन टेस्टिंग करते हैं। और रेड वाले ऑफेंसिव होते हैं। और पर्पल वाले हम लोग होते हैं, मतलब जो अंदर और बाहर दोनों का चीज चेक करते हैं कि हमारे यहाँ पे लो होल्स क्या है, उसको कैसे फिक्स करना है। ऑडिट रिपोर्ट देते हैं, ये पता है मुझे।
ये टीमिंग बोलते हैं इसको, टीमिंग।
हाँ, टीमिंग, सॉरी,
So
रेड टीमिंग।
red teaming is offensive. You, as you said, as you discussed, or offensive. That means they do a PT, they do pen testing. Okay, the red, a blue team. Okay, sorry, red team.
हाँ।
Blue team they will defend.
हम्म।
Okay, and purple team like normal what we are doing the operations, I think so।
जो मुझे कहा जाता है, जो मैं करता हूँ अपने
हाँ हाँ।
एनवायरनमेंट में, कि ये
तो
लूप होल्स है, उसको भरना चाहिए।
हाँ, तो इसमें सब इंक्लूड हो जाए, आईटी का पार्ट पूरा आ गया इसके अंदर, सर्वर,
जी हाँ।
firewall, network, everything will come। Okay, so
ओके।
offensive may like they'll be having a 24/7 they will be doing attacking, they'll be doing, and they will be, this team will be defending। It's just a logical bifurcation which has been done to just to identify the department what they are doing, what they are doing all about। Okay,
ओके।
तो red team जो करता है which is called PT,
पेन टेस्टिंग।
pen testing। Okay, they do the PT or VA, vulnerability assessment। Okay, so VAPT हो जाता है पूरा। तो इसमें क्या होता है, specifically to PT there is black box, then white box and gray. So black box में क्या होगा, आपको कुछ भी इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं मिलेगा. You don't have any information and you are given only no information, but you will be given a scope कि ये एरिया है, आपको इधर हैक करना है, पीटी करना है, पेनिट्रेट करना है बेसिकली. ओके, तो इसमें क्या होगा कि that guy should understand, should know, should identify the server name, IP address or the URL, and then start PT, start penetrating into the environment with the help of black box. White box में क्या होगा कि आपको IP address दिया जाएगा और आपको यूजर नेम भी दिया जाएगा, पासवर्ड भी दिया जाएगा. तो ये दोनों के बिना पर आपको पीटी करना है. यूजर नेम, IP एड्रेस, URL सब दिया जाएगा, सब इंफॉर्मेशन दिया जाएगा. आप उसको क्या करना है, हैक करना है. ग्रे बॉक्स में भी सिमिलर, थोड़ा 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 ग्रे बॉक्स में यानी कि he'll have like not full information. ब्लैक बॉक्स में क्या होगा कि उसके पास कुछ भी नहीं रहेगा. करेक्ट.
They will
और white,
directly try to hack it.
हाँ pardon,
They will indirectly try to hack it. कि मतलब पूरा ब्लैंक हो लेकिन हैक करो, मालूम मत करो कि क्या लूप होल्स है.
हाँ ब्लैक बॉक्स के अंदर कुछ भी इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं रहेगा, ब्लाइंड एकदम. मतलब उसको कुछ मालूम ही नहीं है, तो वो उसके अपने स्किल सेट से उसको आइडेंटिफाई करना है, हर चीजों को स्कैन करना है, पोर्ट स्कैन करना है, आईपी आइडेंटिफाई करना है, जियोलॉजिकल लोकेशंस देखना है, NS लुकअप कर देखना है किधर रजिस्टर्ड है IP एड्रेस, पिंग का रेस्पॉन्स कितना आ रहा है. पिंग के रेस्पॉन्स से भी तुमको मालूम पड़ेगा कि ये सर्वर किधर है.
बहुत डिटेल मालूम पड़ता है सर.
हाँ
बहुत से डिटेल मालूम पड़ जाता है पिंग
हाँ,
से.
अभी पिंग का रेस्पॉन्स तुमको इमीडिएट आ रहा है, तो उसका मतलब कि ये सर्वर मेरे करीब में कहीं तो कहीं मेरे लोकेशन में ही है जहां पर मैं अवेलेबल हूँ. और अगर कुछ ना कुछ डिफेंस लाइक कुछ मिली सेकेंड इंक्रीज हो गया, 300 कुछ हो गया, 400 हो गया, तो समझ में आ रहा है कि कुछ जोग्राफिकल बाउंड्री रीच बाहर जा रहा है, पैकेट बाहर जा रहा है, यानी कि वो मेरे बाउंड्री में नहीं है, मेरे जोग्राफिकल एरिया में नहीं है, बाहर है. तो ये तरीके से वो क्या करेगा, वो रीच आउट करेगा इन ब्लैक बॉक्सिंग के अंदर. व्हाइट बॉक्सिंग के अंदर उसको सब दिया जाएगा, भाई ये सर्वर है, ये IP एड्रेस है, ये पासवर्ड है, ये यूजर नेम है, भाई आप अभी हैक करके दिखाओ. ओके. और ग्रे के अंदर उसमें क्या होगा, उसको थोड़ा सा इंफॉर्मेशन मिल जाएगा, सच एज IP एड्रेस, URL मिल जाएगा, भाई ये URL इसमें देखो कि क्या कंसर्न है, TTL बराबर है क्या नहीं, तुम उसको लाइक डेटा तुम्हारा SQL इंजेक्शन कर पा रहे हो नहीं कर पा रहे हो. वो टॉप 10 OAPs मालूम है आपको, टॉप 10 OAPs vulnerabilities है there. वो URL बेस होता है, वो HTTP बेस होता है. ठीक है, जितने भी HTTP है उसमें टॉप 10 का vulnerabilities होता है. ओके, तो वो उसमें देखते हैं कि उसके अंदर क्या HTTP के अंदर क्या क्या कंसर्न है, HTTPS. ठीक है, इधर टॉप 10 vulnerabilities होती है, वीकनेस. ओके, तो जितने भी अभी हमारा जितना भी डेटा जो जा रहा है ट्रांसफर हमारा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से इंटरनेट में, एवरीथिंग इज गोइंग थ्रू दिस. ओके, HTTP से ही जा रहा है. करेक्ट. अभी हम जो कम्युनिकेट कर रहे हैं ये भी HTTP के थ्रू हो रहा है. 100% organization like corporate organizations, all the data transfer with HTTP only. 100% data is getting transferred. Apart from HTTP, nobody is using anything. No FTP, nothing. तुम्हारा VPN भी HTTP के थ्रू जा रहा है. करेक्ट.
यहाँ पर.
Okay, because we have you download the app VPN client. Okay, तो VPN client भी तो कि तुम्हारा कब कैसे कम्युनिकेट करेगा, विद HTTP कम्युनिकेट करता है with the help of TCP/IP.
Yeah.
If I am not wrong. Okay, तो इसके अंदर 10 vulnerabilities एक कंपनी ने फाइंड किया है. That company name is OWASP. Okay, 1 2 3 4 ऐसा 10 वीकनेस है इसके अंदर. ओके, अगर इसको तुम बंद कर दिए तो तुम्हारा डेटा सेफ है, डेटा इज सेफ. इसको बंद करना है बस. HTTP नीड टू ब्लॉक दिस, क्योंकि इधर ये टनल बन रहा है, इसी से पूरा डेटा जा रहा है तुम्हारा. ओके, तो ग्रे बॉक्स को ये इंफॉर्मेशन मिलता है कि HTTPS है, URL है, IP एड्रेस है, मतलब पार्शियल इंफॉर्मेशन. ओके, एंड देन ही ट्राई टू हैक बेस्ड ऑन दोस इंफॉर्मेशन. साउंड्स गुड. समझ में आया? ग्रे बॉक्स समझ में आ गया, ब्लैक बॉक्स, व्हाइट बॉक्स
क्लियर समझा पूरा सर, पूरा क्लियर है.
Okay, next, what is the following best demonstrate compliance with the clause 7.3? Demonstrate means कुछ काम करना, कुछ दिखाना, okay, which comes under awareness requirement.
Education test, policy reminders and targeted strategy. सब B रहेगा conducting quarterly phishing test, policy reminders and targeted.
Okay,
Okay.
security briefing for the high risk item. So awareness is about the active engagement and reinforcement. Okay, reinforcement means you're giving some more forces. Okay, more force you're applying. Okay, so that
Yes.
it become effective. So it is not a passive document sharing. Regular interactive training, targeted briefing, and practical exercise like phishing simulations that makes clause point 7 expectation. So now clause 4, which is 7.4, which is called communication. So the purpose of communication is to ensure that all the stakeholders, such as internal and external, they are aware about the ISS requirement, security, responsibility, incident procedures. Without proper communications, even most robot controls can fail due to misunderstanding or lack of awareness. अगर हमको पता ही नहीं है तो हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते. So communication is very much important. IMP. Okay. So that communication should be have internal means our employee, stakeholder, external means vendor. Okay. उनको क्या पूछना है? They should be security, responsibility, and incident procedure. Without the communications, we'll not be able to maintain those robust control, and will fail due to misunderstanding or lack of awareness. So why clause 7.4 is important? Because it will reduce the risk of misunderstanding during the security incident, improve compliance with regulations, boost awareness and vigilance, support a culture of transparency and accountability. Clear in communications.
समझा सभी.
So in communications, it's very much important so that our internal and external people should be aware about the ISMS requirement. That will be held as a security responsibility and also an incident response procedure. So without this proper communications, our robust control will fail due to misunderstanding or lack of awareness. कुछ चीजें हमको समझ में नहीं आ रही है और हमने कर दिया, अवेयरनेस नहीं है, कोई ट्रांसफर नहीं किया, कोई कम्युनिकेशन नहीं किया और वो चीजें नहीं बनी, तो ये हमारा रोबोस्ट कंट्रोल जो हमने इम्प्लीमेंट किया है, फायरवॉल है, जो भी है, ये हमारा काम नहीं करेगा. So this will reduce the risk of misunderstanding during the security incidents. It also improve the compliance with the regulations. That means हम लोग follow कर रहे हैं. Compliance with the following with the regulations requirement. And it also boosts the awareness कि हमको aware है और vigilance. Vigilance means active. हम active है, हर चीजों के अंदर देख रहे हैं, जांच पड़ताल कर रहे हैं, समझ में आ रहा है, aware हो रहे हैं. तो ये हमारा increase होगा जब हम communicate करेंगे बराबर. Okay, which is communication. Okay. अगर हम बराबर कम्युनिकेट कर रहे हैं तो हम विजिल हो जाएंगे. सपोर्ट अ कल्चर ऑफ ट्रांसपेरेंसी एंड अकाउंटेबिलिटी. व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय ट्रांसपेरेंसी?
तो सामने वाले को उस चीज की मालूमात होनी चाहिए.
हाँ, यानी कि जो चीजें मैं बता रहा हूँ सामने को वही चीज मालूम होनी चाहिए, उसको बोलते ट्रांसपेरेंट. मैं कुछ छुपा रहा हूँ और सामने कुछ कुछ और बोल रहा हूँ तो ट्रांसपेरेंट नहीं है. करेक्ट. तो ट्रांसपेरेंसी के साथ में हम कुछ चीजें बताओगे तो ये चीजें सामने आएगी जब हम कम्युनिकेट करोगे. अकाउंटेबिलिटी मतलब हमको समझ में आएगी कौन बंदा है
जिम्मेदारी.
को देखने वाला. करेक्ट.
हाँ, उसमें जिम्मेदार कौन.
तो ये अकाउंटेबिलिटी है कि भाई हाँ, मोहसिन भाई फायरवॉल को देख रहे हैं कि मैं अकाउंटेबिलिटी पे क्या प्रॉब्लम है, फायरवॉल क्या प्रॉब्लम है, ये है, तो हाँ इसका मतलब ये हो गया है, इसका मतलब ये हो गया है. करेक्ट. तो ये अकाउंटेबिलिटी लेने वाला जब हम कम्युनिकेट करेंगे तब हमको समझ में आएगा. तो की रिक्वायरमेंट फॉर टू अंडर कम्युनिकेशन इन दैट. So the organization must determine what to communicate. So what to communicate? So employ information security policies and procedure. Okay. Incident reporting and requirement, result of ISMS audit of review, legal and regulatory obligations, security incident and lesson learned. So these are the things we need to communicate. Okay. Then when to communicate, कब communicate करना है हमको, क्या situation, what is the situation? Okay. So regular interval, example monthly, awareness email, जो हम पोस्टर बनाते हैं, इंट्रानेट में डालते हैं, डेस्कटॉप में डालते हैं, this are all comes as part of the communication channel or platform. So when changes occur, example new policy or update risk assessment, जब भी कुछ new change होगा, that time we need to communicate. During incident response or physical or phishing attack, any incident could be any, that time we require a communication. On demand for the compliance purpose. On demand means there can be a request from regulations such as SBI. SBI बोलता है, SBI बोलता है कि अभी आप month में every month send a communication. So that we need to send the communication on demand. Okay. So with whom we need to communicate, which is what we mentioned here. Employee को होना चाहिए, contractor को होना चाहिए, management को होना चाहिए. So external, these are the internal, and for external, these are the external customer, regulation, supplier, and the partner. So who shall communicate? Designated role to ensure the accuracy and authority. Like we can define an ISMS manager, okay, or we can say security manager. Okay, so this security manager will be responsible for communicating the information or awareness session to all the employees. For HR, for onboarding awareness, incident response team leader, or legal and compliance. That means respective profile should communicate. Okay. The process by which the communication shall be effected. So what will be the process or the media or the medium which you are going to use? One can be email bulletin, town hall meeting, secure messaging platform, internal portal or intranet or desktop profile, or office letter reports to external stakeholder. So these are the medium or the ways to communicate. So practical implementations in communication matrix, many organizations, they create a communication plan and the matrix mapping each scenarios. Matrix means matrix. What is the matrix?
एक्सप्रेशन मैट्रिक्स सर, तो मैं गलत नहीं हूँ तो एक्सप्रेशन मैट्रिक्स बात कर रहे हो क्या?
हाँ, मैट्रिक्स जो हम बनाते हैं, मतलब कुछ डिफाइन करते हैं, लाइक वैल्यू देते हैं, कुछ बंदे का नाम असाइन करते हैं, तो दैट इज व्हाट इज मैट्रिक्स अबाउट. दैट मींस लाइक कोई भी वैल्यू देते हैं, लाइक समझो अभी वी कैन से लाइक फायरवॉल ट्रेनिंग, तो आपका डिपार्टमेंट जाएगा, लाइक आईटी डिपार्टमेंट विल डू फायरवॉल ट्रेनिंग. सो दिस काइंड ऑफ मैट्रिक्स वी नीड टू डिफाइन. ओके, कितना टाइम लगेगा, क्या इम्पैक्ट है, सो दिस ऑल कम्स, और वैल्यू क्या होगा, ओके, अंडरस्टैंड का, अवेयरनेस का क्या वैल्यू हो. So these are the metrics we will be defining. So to have a understand. तो ये information ये जाएगा, फिर आपको उनको मालूम पड़ेगा कि भाई फायरवॉल का बंदा ये है जो मुझे ट्रेनिंग देने वाला है. Okay. So what needs to be said, who will say, how it will be delivered, target audience, timeline. This will be defined in the matrix and communication plan. आप एक पूरा काला चिट्टा बनाओगे कि भाई ये बंदा है with various divisions, with various responsibilities, and what are the trainings will be defined under that matrix, and the communication plan will be there and it will be communicated accordingly. So in that, this will be included, this information will be included. So crisis communication plan. Crisis means any incident. So during incident, predefined template and channels are critical to avoid or panic misinformation. That means एक फायर होता है, फायर ड्रिल होता है कंपनी के अंदर. ये क्यों कराते हैं?
आग लगे तो मालूम पड़े कहाँ भागना चाहिए.
Why we make fire drill in an organization? Every quarter it is happening, correct?
ये सर.
आपके इसमें हुआ आपके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में?
हाँ सर.
तो क्यों कराते हैं? Why they make a fire drill?
वही मालूम पड़ जाता है कि आग लगे तो जब क्या करना चाहिए उस टाइम पे, यहाँ आपका तफरी ना माहौल ना हो,
Okay, yes.
तरतीब
तो
तरतीब लोग निकले और जगह जमा हो जाए, और जब
हाँ,
तक कुछ ठीक हो जाए
सब ठीक हो
तब
जाए.
आगे.
To avoid panic, that is the important over here. Importance over here. Fire इसे करा जाता है कि we should have avoid panic. So which is called an incident response, IR. Okay. So this is incident response at the time of incident. So there is also one which is called IRP, which is incident response plan. So this incident response plan is the fire drill. So fire drill में आपको बताया जाता है, you will be showcasing on the fire drill where they will, your team leader or a person who has been nominated to call out about the fire, that there's a fire in your premises, there will be a call out. So there is a designated person. The name will be given to you beforehand. So based on his call out or his kind of announcement, you will be taking action. Okay. So there is a set process that is called a plan. So that guy will come, he will shout, he will announce. Then you need to start following the process or the procedure or the plan. So he will tell, okay, there's a fire. Now you start taking all your utilities or all your personal belongings, if it is important, or you can store in some fireproof chub and all those things. Then you start evacuating. You follow the door where they have mentioned the path of evacuation. Then you take the staircases. That will be a backup staircases. Evacuate, maybe fire evacuate area is there. There's a separate staircases for fire evacuation. You're not using the main staircases or the lift in that scenario, because the separate fire staircase has been designated for that incident only. If some fire is there or some any other incident happen, so that steps will be taken. So these all things will mention in the plan. Okay, and after that you exit the premise, you gather in an area which is safe, considered as safe, and then there will be an attendance and then be asked that are you present or not. So that will be the end of the drill. So why they need all this procedure? Because in case of crisis, that means crisis means any incident or any issue, that is called crisis. So any incident that which will call as a crisis. So during crisis, we need to have a plan. If you don't have IRP, that means incident response plan, there will be a panic. Okay. So I'm giving as a fire as an example. So there could be any problem. Your firewall goes down, your server shut down, your power outrage, flood, fire, man-made disaster, hacking incident, all those incidents will be there in this. So what we need to do, we need to have a plan over here. That plan is to respond to avoid the panic over here. Sounds good?
Cool, sir.
That will be applicable to all areas, whether it is firewall, network, server, or anything, or physical damage due to rain, fire, or anything. Okay. So then we have feedback loops. Communications should be two-way, with the employee and the stakeholder must have a way to provide feedback or escalate security concerns. Okay. So this is also required. Loop in the sense like this should be round. It is a loop. Okay, that should not be one way. Okay, मैं भेज दिया हूँ and it is not coming, मेरे को कुछ response ही नहीं आ रहा है तो मुझे समझ में नहीं आएगा. So feedback should be there by a two way with the employee. Okay, कि आप, मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ आपको समझ में आ रहा है, आपका feedback मुझे मिलना चाहिए as in loop, so that we can avoid all those things, understand better. So this feedback will be or escalate security concern in proper scenario. So as an example, in phishing scam detector, which is a targeted employee. So what alert about the scam and step to verify the email, when immediately after detection, with whom it is for all employee, who is responsible, it is security manager, how urgent, it is urgent email plus Microsoft Team channel post. So this is a scenario of a phishing attempt. Okay, so there'll be an alert about the scam and the step to verify the email. Immediate detection will be happening. All employee will be communicated about this scam. Security operation will be responsible for all these issues, and there will be an urgent email, and there will be a Microsoft Team channel post. There will be a post on the internet wherever people will able to understand well, or the information gets fast. So that information could be a WhatsApp, could be SMS. What are the channel company use or team can be used in this process? Okay, which of the following is the primary purpose of disciplinary process? Purpose of disciplinary process in information security.
Sir, B.
Yeah, to ensure fair and consistent handling of security breaches by the personnel. So according to ISO, who should disciplinary action for information security violated be defined?
As a part of organization security policies and employment terms.
Yes, so this is part of organization security policies and employment terms. So disciplinary measures should be documented in policies and employment contracts so that all persons are aware of the potential consequences before incident occur. Okay. So which of the following is is not a recommended practice, not recommended practice for a disciplinary process under ISO?
Not recommended, no? Keeping the
Automatically terminating the employee for all the violations. Not recommended practice for disciplinary process. यानी कि आप disciplinary process follow कर रहे हो और आप क्या कर रहे हो, terminate कर रहे हो employee को,
बराबर
उसी के ऊपर पूरा bill फाड़ रहे हो आप. Okay, so it is not fair. It is not recommended. Okay, कि एक ही बंदे के ऊपर आप सब जो है bill फाड़ रहे हो. Okay, you are making as a scapegoat for all the issues. So automatic termination of all the violation is not recommended. The severity of the action should match the severity of the breaches and ensuring the fairness. क्योंकि एक बंदा सब responsible नहीं कर सकता है. Okay, सबके लिए कि उधर like data breach हो गया, फायरवॉल को निकाल दो. भाई फायरवॉल का तो काम था, प्रोटेक्ट कर दी हम लोग ने डेटा. तुमने एनक्रिप्शन नहीं डाला होगा, या तुमने एक्सेस कंट्रोल क्रेडेंशियल लीक हो गया है. There could be credential leak out. मेरा डेटा तो जाएगा फायरवॉल से बाहर, क्योंकि मेरा तो जेन्युइन डेटा है ना, जेन्युइन ट्रैफिक है मेरा, पासवर्ड के साथ में गया मेरा यहाँ से. करेक्ट. तो आई एम नॉट हेल्ड रिस्पांसिबल, तुमको निकाल दिया. So this should not be the case, should not be recommended in this process. Sounds good? Okay. So a contractor repeatedly ignores password policies requirement. Okay. Which disciplinary action align best with ISO clause under 7.4? That is communication, correct?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, so what is the answer? That immediately legal action without warning,
or informal counseling, ignore the behavior with a major breach occur, terminate the entire contract team.
Informal counseling followed by formal warning. The behavior continues.
This is the answer. So the standard support should be progressive approach. Disciplinary action should be there, starting with education and warning, escalating if non-compliance continues. Why is documentation an important disciplinary process for security violations? Document why it is required over here.
Sir, B.
Just to ensure legal defensibility and maintain its consistency. So document will ensure that actions are consistent and it is fair and legal defensible and compliant with organization's policies. So now under 7.5, there is documented information. Okay, what do you mean by document information? This clause will set expectation. What do you mean by set expectation?
जो आपसे चीज तवक्को की जा रही है कि आप ये चीज बरकरार रखोगे.
So these are the words which I am focusing on, basically, which you need to remember. And you need to use those words in day-to-day communication in your in your work, in your environment. So this will give an add value to your work as well as it will highlight your work. Okay, बंदे को मालूम है कि क्या-क्या चीजें हो रही है organizations के अंदर, how policies work, how things works in terms of protecting the data. So when you start using, so have you started all using those words which we have learned so far in your organizations and all those things? Or you have?
यूज करना तो नहीं, लेकिन समझ में आने लगी चीजें क्यों होती है.
Okay,
इसलिए
so
अमूमन हमें ये यूज क्लास स्टार्ट करके 1 महीना ही हुआ अभी तक.
okay, so are you getting benefited out of this? What we have discussed
Alhamdulillah.
before, like in your working
Alhamdulillah.
environment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So like, what is your plan? Like have you started exploring GRC requirement or roles, or you want to increase or you want to upgrade your existing position? What is your strategy? Have you started using all those information so that you can build up your database or something with what you're looking about?
Started planning and the planning of changing the job first of all.
Okay. So which role you're going about? You're looking for.
So mostly I'm planning, meanwhile my job role is right now deputy manager, which is completely into technical only. And meanwhile, as a constructive path for my future, I'm looking as a job role which can provide me both responsibility, technical, and the same which I'm going through, means this course which will help me, that this person has done on knowledge of ISO management, and so just provide him the role of techno management role, which will be beneficial for the organization, in which I will be able to contribute towards technical, also in management, which will help the organization to cover up all the audit points and
Yes.
the gaps related to security.
Yeah, good. So you start collaborating, you start looking out for that roles appear for the.
Exactly. So I've started pinpointing on my dashboard. I have learned this in this organization in the class. So I need to be consistent in these things. I've started pinpointing these things. So.
Yeah. So what will happen by the time you end up the course, or by the time on the duration of the course, you can also use those information which we like imparting you, so that you can use those information in terms of cracking the interviews, getting those positions. So what will happen if you don't use, like this is then if you don't use those information and the session is closed or is end, so you will not be able to make more advantage over that unless you like later on definitely you will have advantage. So any information what you learn will not be spoiled as it is, like it is not like if we learn something and it's not in use later on, definitely that information will come at any point of time. Okay, so but the more you start gaining benefit out of that, it will be good for us. Okay, so make use of all those information and then start cracking interview, apply, and you can use also in your organizations. Like you can start exploring the department where they where they have started implementing ISO. You gel with them, get the information, speak with them, get to know about the policies. See, for you, the policies is open. Okay, you go to the internet, you have a lot of policies. You read, that will be benefit. So I will tell you that if you're not following the policies which is there on your intranet, you are missing a lot. A lot means a lot. That policy will help you in tracking your senior management positions, what you're looking out for, techno managerial profile and all those things. So you start from tomorrow onwards, or whenever you start finding time, you go to the intranet, take the policy, start reading the policies. Okay.
Sure, sir.
That
I'll do that.
policy will give you a good break and you are understanding what we have discussed here so far. You will be able to align. Before this session or before this, your understanding of that, if you start learning those policies, I agree that you will not be understand a single word or single line. Definitely. Have you gone through the policies before this session?
No, sir, never.
Never. Okay. So you go to the internet policies and you start learning. So that is a major, I can say you.
But yeah, after these classes, means after the time I joined these classes, I started learning the policy. Previously, I used to get both. What is the policy? What is the made of this? All this thing. Why do we need to every time highlight or we need to create a point that I'm doing this, doing that. But Alhamdulillah, now I start. My manager only appointed me. Mostly whatever your changes you are doing in the environment or whatever you are bringing changes to the environment, just note it down. Just add in the SOPs. So now I upfrontly take this responsibility that let me do it. I'll do it for the organization. I'll do it for my role. So
Yeah.
I started taking these opportunities.
Yes. So you try to do some documentation part also, like firewall SOPs.
Yes, sir.
Any policies which we want to implement, make as a document. Okay, put
Yeah.
your site, put your like some of words, like what are the objective of the firewall, what you are going to define as a high level. So that you can present to the management. You can tell them, okay, this is what I have highlighted. It could be your firewall, what you can say, blueprint or your architecture diagram. Okay, make architecture diagram, define those parameters, those matrices on that, and enable some kind of pointers where you directly say that this is what it's all about. This is what we can secure ourselves. So you make as a flow, and in that flow, you add some pointer in the sense, some kind of policies. Okay, a written document, written statement. So that will help the person to understand from the diagram as well as your pointer. So this will help in terms of your understanding and the other person's understanding as well. So what I suggest from my side, to get more benefit out of the discussions what we are doing in this session, you start reading the policies. When you read the policy which is there, take a small policy. Okay, don't go for a big and all this. Take whatever the small, you start that and try to comprehend and write on your own self. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Don't write what exactly you're able to see there. You understand
Okay.
and then write in your own language, in a notepad
Okay.
or WordPad in your free time in office. Make
Okay,
as a pointer, point 1, point 2, point 3. Then you match with the existing policies. Key, how good is the policy which I have written? If you practice, definitely this will help you in her, because ISMS, or if you go for this kind of role where we need to write a policies for an organization, because most of the companies, they don't have the policies, unless if it is big company, they do. But for a smaller company, they don't have that kind of policies. So this is the best time for you, where you align yourself, what are the information you have gained from this session, and whatever existing scenario you have in an organization. In that, you will have a chance to what you can say, to identify the mistake or the error in the policy. Definitely there will be an error. Every policy, what they have made, there will be an error. Definitely you will be able to find. So there is the one task for you will be one of that. You find the error in their policy, which is not matching with your current practice. Okay. Or the practice
Okay,
is
sir.
wrong, or the
Thank you,
practice is
sir.
wrong, or the policy is wrong.
Okay.
Okay. So you map this.
So why the policy is there? Policy is there to do the practice. So you map the practice, you map the policy. If the practice is correct, that means the policy is wrong. If the policy is right, then the practice is wrong. This is the error you need to identify. Once you started identifying this error, that means you become a master. So tomorrow onwards, you start learning the policy, then you start like typing those policies, write those policies on your own word. No matter whether it is wrong or right, that doesn't matter, but you try to figure out on the next attempt. And the third step is to map the policy between the practical scenario, what is happening. This should be right and this should be right. Okay. So,
Okay, sir. Cool, sir.
okay, so where we are. So can we take this on the next session, 7.2?
If you're not comfortable, sir, then it's okay. Otherwise, we have already started it. If you want, you can complete it first.
We'll complete this one. This will more actually.
Yes, sir. If you are comfortable, sir. Okay, let it be, sir. If you want, we'll join in the last.
So we can like stop over here, like maybe for you it will be more, I think so. And no problem for me, but it's up to you. If I want, I can start this one.
No, sir, please complete it.
I can complete. I can complete. Okay.
Please, sir.
Okay. So in this
Document part.
in the document, what we have discussed is we need to create the document, maintain it, control and retain for in a way that support ISMS effectively operation as well as compliance. So the purpose of this is to ensure that there is an evidence of the conformity. Conformity means conformity.
The response from the
Assurance basically.
receiver. Yeah, assurance. To whom I need to communicate.
That means
Yes.
implemented. That is when things are implemented. Okay.
Yes.
So that should be the evidence. For an example, I will say that I've given the example of the well, that the person has taken 10 lakh. Okay. And for the to dig the well. And he has not dig the well. Okay, the well is not there. Okay, for the water. So for that, what is the conformity? What is the evidence? So that should be someone, auditing should be there. He should go and see with naked eyes that well is exactly in place, water is coming out, people are utilizing the water. So that kind of conformity is called conformity, which is as an evidence of the conformity. That means people are going and seeing and checking everything is fine. So that is the requirement of the documentations, which will help in evidence of the conformity. So that conformity is all about the ISO requirement, which will come as a control, clauses and everything. It also helps maintain the consistency in the process, policies and the procedure. It prevents losses, misuses and unauthorized access to the critical ISMS documentation because it is protected. We need to protect that information. Make it possible to prove compliance during the audit. So this document will make as a proof or evidence in terms of audit. Okay, that means you have implemented firewall, you need to have the firewall diagram, firewall version, policies should be documented in your policies and then define, show to the auditor, take the report. Physically, auditor will go to the data center where the firewall is installed. Physically, he will see, he will have an evidence, then it will prove as a compliance over here. Sounds good? Any question?
No, sir.
Okay. So structure of compliance 7.5, it will break down into 3 subclauses. One is general. So ISMS must include document information that is required standard itself, which is a policy statement or a security policy, statement of applicability, which is SOA, which is the evidence of what we have implemented of a control. Okay, then the organization's own processes, which is based on risk assessment and operational need. Then you decide the extent of the document information depending on organization size and complexity, nature of activity, product and services, risk involved. then staff competence level. Okay, so here we need to document about organization process. For an example, an organizations, they are making what you can say car. Okay, so the car manufacturer, they need to add about the company complexity. So car will have a lot of complexity. There'll be parts manufacture, there could be chassis, there could be tire, and there could be like interior, seat. So all those things will come under the complexity of an organization. So that you need to define under the documentation. Then nature of activity, that this is a car production company. What is the product? Product is car. What are the services? They repair the car. So these are the things we need to document. And what are the risks involved in doing a car production? Then staff competence level. How are the staff, whether they are competent enough to do a car making production? So as an example, a small startup may need fewer formal procedure than a large multinational bank. Okay. So this is what we need to define in the document about organizations as a whole. For your company, it's NBFC, correct?
Yes, sir.
So you need to define what kind of product you have, what kind of services you are having. All those information you need to define.
What type of loans we give, what this
kind of
is.
loans.
Yes.
Yeah. So all those things will be covered in this document. So creating and updating, while creating and updating ISMS documentation, the organization must ensure they need to have a identification is must. It should be clear title, reference number, version control, author, and approval date on all the policies or document. Who is making, what is the title, what is the reference number, version 1, version 2, who is making, made by Mohsin, all those should be there. Who approve with the date. Format, whether it's a hard copy, electronic, video, with a consistent template. Review and approval, checked for adequate and approval before use. So there should be an approval. Okay, who approved, who granted. मैं बना दिया, सब check कर रहे हैं, कुछ problem है उसके अंदर, कोई approve नहीं किया. So to avoid all those things, there should be an approval. So as an example, a change in access control policy, okay, should include a version number update from V1 to V2. Okay, version 1, 2.1 to 2.2. Then change log explanation why it was modified. Then it should be approved by the CISO for the policy change. Sounds good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, control of document information. Document information must be controlled to ensure availability and suitability. That means it should be available by everybody. So now you can go in your office and go to internet, there'll be policy section. It will be available because it is the rights of every employee to have this availability as part of ISO. Then need protection from loss, misuse, corruption, and unauthorized. I should not be able to see your policy, okay, because I am not authorized. Sounds good. So it should be unauthorized action should be protected. Distribution control, who can see, edit, or delete. Okay. Then retentional disposal, keep as long as needed, secure disposal when no longer required. That means the policy is phased out, version 1 is over, then we have version 2, delete this, take an approval. Okay. What control you should address? Should have read-write access control, storage location such as secure drive, document management system, backup and disaster recovery should be there, version history checking tracking should be there, prevention of accidental deletion. That should be enabled. So these are the things we can put as a part of control on the documentation. So here is an example, a statement of applicability, which is SOA, which is stored on the SharePoint folder. Nowadays, we are using SharePoint, OneDrive, and all those things. So with the read-only access for an employee, because of easier, we use SharePoint actually. So, but edit rights only to ISMS manager. Okay, but tomorrow you went for the policy, you went on the intranet, you have seen you can delete the file. So this is a violation of document.
Sounds good. You can start, you can see, and you can delete the file. You can see whether you can able to delete or modify. And this is one of the tests you can do tomorrow. You can add some point over there, some line, delete some line, try to delete the file. This all things you can do to just to ensure that the file is protected enough. Old versions are archived, not deleted for audit history. So if we have version 1, sometimes they require to keep retention for 1 year for audit. After 1 year, we can delete this file. So common example for document information, first is security policies, risk assessment treatment plan, SOA, IRP, incident response procedure, access control policy, supplier security assessment report, internal audit report, training record, asset inventory. So these are the training document which we need to define and keep as part of documentations. So as a real world scenario, so as an auditor, you are reviewing the client ISMS project. So you required their incident response policy. So you want to see the incident response policy, what you have mentioned. So they provide an outdated version with no approval date, no changes, history, and missing signature also. So this is a non-conformity. Non-conformity means NC. Okay. NC against 7.2, 7.13. So when you do audit and you make a report, in that report, you will see that I am reviewing incident response policy under which I have identified that the version is old, no approval, no date, no change history, missing signature. And this is NC under clause 7.5.2, 7.5.3. So this is the report. You go to give this report to the management, make sign off, follow up, and implement this all changes. This is how auditing works. Sounds good?
Yes, sir.
So which of the following best describe the purpose of document information in ISO 27001?
To demonstrate compliance and support the operations of ISMS.
Yes, to demonstrate compliance and support of the ISMS. So which of the following is not requirement of a documented under clause 7.5?
Physical storage in lock filling cabinet.
Yes. So this is out of context basically, correct? We not discussed about the physical storage and on all this thing. So it is not part of the clause documentation. So what is the main difference between maintained and retained documentation? What do you mean maintain and retain?
सर डी वाला रहेगा maintain refers to draft version, retain refers to final version. या तो
Maintain refers to current operational document, retain refers to historical records. यानी कि हमने retain किया मतलब रखा हुआ है, बचा कर रखा हुआ for historical record. Okay. Maintain is for current जो अभी चल रहा है operational document, which is maintained. Okay. Understand maintain and retain?
जी हाँ सर.
Okay. So which of the following is the best practices for controlling document information?
This is best practice of controlling documented information. Best practice क्या रहेगी? Allowing control copies. 9. Using version control. Using version control to track document changes.
Yes, using version control to track document changes the best practice for controlling the document information. That means version 1, version 2, version 3, you're having a track of all those things. Okay. So under clause 7.5, emphasize and document information should be
Available where and when it is needed.
Yeah, so available when and when it is needed. Okay, so as a summary of the clause, resources is there, which is 7.1, the staff or the skill set, competence, skill set, awareness of training, of understanding of all the processes, then you communicate, then you document all those things. So these are all coming under the clause 7. Okay, so resource like providing people, tool and money, hire people, buy SIM tool, competence means staff should have skill set, right skill set, train employee on risk. People must know policies, their role and all those things. Okay. And conduct phishing awareness training, then define how and when and whom we need to share the information based on the communication. Then send incident plan to SOC team. And in documentations, maintain the control of ISMS documentations. As an example, store updated policies in secure portal or intranet. Okay, so
Yes, sir.
we'll have like a few question and answer before we wind up for the session. So
Okay.
in this context, under clause 7, organization conduct a skill gap. And under incident response team and identify the shortage in the cloud forensic expertise. So this policy is updated, a new training plan is created, which primary subclass is more directly demonstrated by this action.
Competence.
Competence, yes, because we are upgrading the,
Skill gap. The knowledge.
we are identifying the skill deficiencies and implementing training for that, for ensuring that it has a competence on the process. So again, scenario, monthly security newsletter is issued to all employees, okay, to provide phishing simulation exercise, maintaining the cybersecurity hotline, to report suspicious activity. So what combination of subclass is under 7 implemented?
Awareness and communication.
Yes, it is awareness and communication, because we are maintaining the hotline over here. Okay, there people will call about, and we are giving a phishing simulation exercise also. Okay. So under third question, in an organization we're giving ISMS training. Okay, record are incomplete, but evidence show that all employees have actually undergone the training. So record is incomplete, but actually training is completed. So what is the most likely to be non-conformity? What is NC over here? What is NC?
Completed. Sir, B रहेगा.
Correct.
B. Sorry,
Document
C.
information because of evidence of training is missing. So why C? Because there is evidence जो बता रहा है, employee has actually undergone the training, but the training record, this is the record. Okay, record means document.
लिखा हुआ है incomplete.
Okay, record means record नहीं है हमारे पास. There is no record. That means document information because evidence of training is missing. Okay, so ISO requires that certain element,
Documentation.
especially competence and awareness, must be supported by the document evidence or record. One word for document is record, which is you need to keep in mind. Okay, so even if the activity required training given without proper record, it violates 7.1. Because document is very much important. 7.1 is completely document. DOC. Okay, it's complete document requiring for creating, updating, controlling document information. So this is a classic ISO audit pitfall. No records, it didn't happen, and as a ISO compliant, that is NC. Yani ki if you don't have document,
You haven't done it.
you have not done anything. And even though if you have done something, but no document, no evidence. So it should be like, as I said, you need to see the policy and see the practice. If here is happening, here is happening. That means correct. If here is not happening, document is only there. This is the problem. Here it is happening, but no document. This is NC. Non-compliance on the clause 7. So this is your work tomorrow onwards. You start reading the policy, you see the practice, what is happening, then you raise. This will give you a good idea about an organization and you'll be able to crack interview like this, like within no time, because you are already in environment. You already knows what is mentioned on the policy and what people are doing, what things are going on. If things are going well, but it is not documented, you raise that this is not documented in policy. Okay, so start doing this and this will be valuable to you. Okay, any questions? Thank you for joining. Let me know any
Thank you.
questions.
Jazakallah khair, sir.
Huh?
Thanks a lot, sir.
Okay, yeah, welcome. So next, inshallah, tomorrow. So Sunday morning, it's possible to have a session, like if you can
Of course, sir.
change.
If you want, then it actually said it was not pre-planned. Na? It was a sudden call that in
Ah,
the
yeah,
yesterday. By
yeah.
yesterday it was 3 o'clock, and today in the morning. At
Yeah.
least it would be informed yesterday eve also, so I could have planned my things.
No problem, no problem. So what I suggest, like I am doing some changes.
Okay.
If something is there, I'll like before 1 or 2 days, I will share those session. So
Yes, yeah.
Saturday, it's okay for you for Saturday?
Saturdays, actually my first 2 Saturdays are holidays, and on the rest Saturdays, 3rd, 4th, and 5th are working.
Acha, 4th, 5th is working. Okay.
Uh,
So yeah, we
so
can.
if it's Sunday, 10 o'clock, not an issue for me then.
Okay. So, okay, anyway, so this is just my thought, and if some changes is there, I'll be noticing you prior so that you can make yourself available on that.
Yeah, if you are making it on Saturday, I need to be available, I'll be available, sir, as per your convenience.
Okay. 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 Thank you. Thank you for joining, Mohsin. Anything concern, you let me know. Okay.
Sir, request is there. I don't have the document, I don't have the notes of module 3 and 4.
Okay.
I have noted down all 5th and 6th, but I haven't mentioned 3rd and 4th, so I needed them.
Okay. You don't have the document or input. I will share all the documents. Okay. I'll share.
Not documents, only notes, sir. Means the slides, if you can say that. Slides. I don't have the 3rd and 4th. I have 5th one. I've written all the note down points, but 3rd and 4th are missing in my notes.
Third or fourth means what? You are missing the slide or
Module 3. Slides, sir. You can say the
slides?
slides
Okay.
only.
Third and fourth slides I will share. The third and fourth clause, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll share you the clause. Okay, and I will share the
Okay.
recording as well on the group. Now I will share it after closing this. Okay.
Inshallah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot for joining.